episode of Limit Break Radio is made possible by our generous Patreon donors, including Adam Estro of Leviathan, Zecht Mills of Brynhilder, and Molly Poppins of Excalibur. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. And by GameStation 361. The GameStation 361 is the latest in Garlean subjugation entertainment technologies, brought to you by Orthardian Industries. Featuring over 4,000 tomestones of blast processing, the GameStation 361 has enough power to run 361 laps around the competition. All GameStation 361s come with full SL-4VE crown support, brought to you by the Palazzo Company. Installation is easy. Simply place the crown on your head, turn on the GameStation 361, and the Control.dll will do the rest. GameStation is the only place you'll find popular titles such as Legend of Livia, Shotgun of Time, Grand Theft Magitech, and Orthard Watch. GameStation 361. Now you're gaming with power. Garlean power.
This live from Eorzea. Limit Break. With your hosts, Unhero.
Now behold the horror you have wrought.
Kahlo.
I said don't take your clothes off.
Juxtaposition.
I don't get it.
Ascalia.
Holy shit, totally forgot about him.
And Mika.
Oh my god.
LimitBreakRadio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Limit Break Radio, episode number 95. Thanks so much for joining us here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. LimitBreakRadio.com is the website. If you're a podcast listener, guys, we'd like to invite you to join us live. We do the show each and every single Sunday live here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Let's go ahead and kick it on over to our Eorzean studios, where we see Jinx McNinja hosting us for one viewer. Thank you, Jinx. Appreciate it. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us here today. We've got a show. I'm not even going to say it's an exciting show. We've got a show.
Wow, way to sell
here.
it.
We're here. We've got some stuff to talk about, including the 3.5 trailer that dropped this week. But we want to talk to you. We understand that the last two episodes that we did both fell on apparent holidays. I don't know what those are anymore. I haven't had a holiday or a day off, or can you hear the teeth grinding in that statement?
It's weird when you tell someone you know, you're like, oh yeah, no, I worked both Christmas and New Year's Day, and there's like, you have the shittiest job ever.
And then you go, yeah, it's like a volunteer gig that, I mean, I made like $20 for the day. It was cool. We understand that some of our normal audience was not able to be here. Either they were nursing hangovers or hanging out with their family.
Getting hangovers.
Being normal people, right? Like being normal people and not being big, gigantic weirdos listening to a video game podcast on a holiday. But we appreciate all of those big giant weirdos that did listen to us live and that did call in. Thank you guys so much. But we want to hear from everyone about the 3.5 trailer that we're going to be talking about here today. We'll also be talking about, if you want to talk about it, anything that's coming up in Stormblood, anything about 3.5, any speculation that you may have. If you want to sound off on the t-shirt, EU FanFest speculation, we want to hear it all. That's Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord if you want to call in on Discord. So joining me today, of course, we've got Ascalia in the studio, and joining us over Skype, we've got Kahlo, and that's it.
What's up?
Kooky is here today.
She's back.
Yes, Kooky is back today. Let's talk to Kooky.
Me?
Yes, hi Kooky, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. We did miss you. How was your holiday?
It was good. I actually saw snow.
Oh,
yeah,
great for you.
You're from a land. You're from a land that doesn't get much snow, so it's it's a novelty to you. How quaint.
Hey, we were discussing this last week, and I'm still kind of curious about how did you and the other interns get the holidays off?
I know.
How did that happen?
How'd you muscle that one?
I don't know. That's just me. I'm Cookie. I get days off.
Okay.
Well, that's hard to argue with.
I have a question now. Cookie, I mean no disrespect to you, okay? Because you know that I love you in just the deepest way possible. But how come I never get a fucking welcome back? She was gone for 1 day.
Well, because you're gone for months at a time.
Yeah.
So you should miss me more.
You'd think that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, right.
I would think that very much.
Well, you would be wrong.
Well, you know what? Now I'm not going to tell people what my big announcement is till the end of the show.
Boo.
I'm sure they're hurt.
Is it December's postcard?
No, that announcement's coming next month.
Aha. Where is that, by the way? In all seriousness.
Going out tomorrow.
Oh.
It's going out tomorrow.
Yep.
So the artwork's done.
She's putting the final touches on it. Yep. There were a bit of holiday delays, but yeah, it's going out tomorrow.
Okay. Fucking artists, man.
I guess I can tell them who it is, though.
Yeah, why don't you tell them who it is?
All right, guys. If you were a Patreon for the month of December...
At the $20 level.
At the $20 level, that's right. At the $20 level or higher, you will be getting Card 2 of Set 1, which features the one, the only, the Juxtaposition.
Ooh.
The Juxtaposition postcard going out for December. Are you ready to announce who's on deck? I mean, we're 9 days into January.
Yeah, who's up next?
Well, that's what I was gonna do. Is each month I was gonna announce who came next, but then Kooky was like, why not keep it like an air of mystery? You know, like if someone wants their favorite, maybe just their favorite host, then they might just hold out for that day. But if you're secret about it, they run the risk of missing their favorite host.
Damn, Kooky, that's cunning.
Exactly.
Oh, she's cold.
My job.
Wow. That's calculated. My goodness. Well, Kooky, we're glad to have you back. And
hope you back too, Carlo. Thank you.
Fuck off. Shut up.
Oh, okay. Then I guess just pout.
I'm gonna.
Who's doing the drops today?
Me.
Escalia, yeah. Escalia is going to...
really excited about that.
Escalia is going to be... See, well, this is going to be good because he doesn't have to run all of the phones, Kooky. Now we have you to Beck to do that. We thank you very much for your hard work.
Nero.
What?
Fuck you too.
Why?
I listened to the show, so
okay.
Fuck you too.
Good. All right.
Yeah, he was real.
I'm just checking. I'm just checking.
I listen to you guys when I'm gone.
I believe that she does. I don't believe anyone else does.
You realize that you're the only host that listens, or you're the only member of the cast that listens to the shit when you're not here. That's remarkable. I have to commend you for that.
Because do you listen to it, Nero, on the rare case that you're not here?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, but only because you have to do the editing on it.
No. I could do that very easily. But I mean, did the thorough tongue lashing that you received for Final Encountercast not give you any idea of whether or not I still listen?
I don't know. I figured maybe someone just said something to you on Twitter, and you're like, "Oh, I'll get on this one."
It's so rare that I miss a show. That and it would be, oh my god, it would be so nice to have a weekend off. I'm just saying it would be nice to have a week off. Holy crap,
that'd be good. Yeah, we could do with that.
Yeah, seriously. Anyway, so welcome back.
Let's complain about it.
We can do that.
Welcome back, Callo. # Mutekolo.
Mutekalo.
Thank you.
I don't know what happens when Juxta's not here. Who gets the mute button now?
Good question. Me, I guess. Right? I'm in his seat.
Yeah,
I'm wearing his headphones.
Can you do it right?
I don't know if he could. Would you mute me? Would you really do something so heartless, so calculating, so cold?
Yeah, sure. He got you
halfway through it too.
Ha! Muted Kahlo too. I got both of them.
Oh my god!
Both of them. Ha! That's me blowing the smoke off of my guns. Anyway, so anything else going on, Kooky? I mean, we've got nothing else to talk about this week, so we're just talking to you.
I went to a bridal show yesterday.
Fuck off. We don't want to hear anything about that. No. Put the brakes on. No.
Nothing's been going on. Like, seriously, what is there to go on in the game?
That's a great question. Absolutely, apparently nothing. Anyway, so Kooky, it's great to have you back. We're glad to have you back, but we do have a bit of a bummer to also announce.
Yeah.
What happened?
Because even though Kooky is back from vacation, Pops went on vacation and we lost him.
He died.
No, he didn't. No, that's not. No, that's not what happened. We just literally lost him. We don't
know where he is.
No, he's gone.
No word?
No, I'm kidding, of course. But Pops did have to end his internship with Limit Break Radio. So just wanted to send a huge shout out and thank you to Papa Woody for all of the hard work and effort that he put in, for hanging out with us out at FanFest, for the work that he put in out there. So yeah, we do want to send a huge shout out and thank you to Pops. And yeah, so there's an opening for a drink runner in the studio.
Best of luck on your future endeavors, Pops.
Yes,
we're going to go ahead and replace you now.
Of course.
Speaking of death, though, there was a member of the LBR hosts.
Glad Night Dev could get you a program that replicates an hero's voice and personality. Sorry again for your loss.
There we
Hashtag
go.
RIP.
Yeah, that apparently.
Lost a hero.
Yeah, that apparently I died at some point this week.
Oh, that was great. I started having people tweet me that shit, and they're like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry for your loss." I'm like, we're not.
Kooky and Callow both on the show. Take my fucking money.
Damn, Thor.
Okay.
Thanks, Thor.
Thank you, Thor.
See, that's a proper welcome back. Thank you, Thor. I actually got a few
mostly for me.
messages of shut up. Of people that didn't realize it was a joke. I'm like, did you actually read the
Oh my God.
paragraph there?
Seriously.
They're like, what happened?
My favorite, I think one of my favorite lines from that was like barely relevant, like they call it the quote unquote obituary. So Cast had made AKA Aaron Edge, if you also listen to Final Encounter Cast, had made a great fake obituary based on the rant that I did about Carrie Fisher's death last week on Final Encounter, and so it got circulated around, and of course a couple of people got punked by it. I don't know why you would. But in there, he described me as barely relevant podcaster Nate Bender, and I was just like, that is very accurate.
If there's ever been a better way to make that description.
Oh, it's so funny. Semi-relevant. There we go.
Semi-relevant. That whole obituary.
Excuse me. Sorry.
What name did he have you being in game?
I don't.
Zinzinosis or something?
Yeah. My favorite part was right at the end. Get good in heaven. He actually thinks you'd go to heaven, bro.
Yeah, no way. No way. Are you kidding me? Hell all the way.
I liked some of the tweets that we got, people asking, like, so is there like a vacancy for a host now? Or it's like, wow, dude.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, to everyone who thought I was dead, I am not.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Better luck next time, guys.
Sorry.
Keep those fingers crossed.
Rumors of my demise have been greatly overreported. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not dead. And that, I guess, feels good. No, that was seriously bizarre and hilarious when that happened about
this is
midweek.
Like a week, 2 weeks after the rumor that you were dating Susan Calloway?
Yeah, right.
So far on this show, you have been dating Nika,
right?
Dating Susan Calloway,
right?
Dead,
right?
And Hitler.
Well, but that was I did that to myself.
Yes. Oh, yeah, the bet.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
I'd actually forgotten about that. So much of that day is just fogged out.
So yeah, before we get into the news, a couple of things that we wanted to talk about in terms of what's going on here with Limit Break Radio. So we talked about the patron stuff, the Kahlo's postcards from Orzea. Remember, again, patreon.com/Limit Break Radio to support the show. Your monthly support helps keep the show weekly. It helps keep the show the quality that it is, and it helps keep us doing Final Encounter Countercast. And it's subsequently been able to help us grow into our third show, which is called Checkpoint Radio. And we now get to officially talk about it.
Yes.
I know. Like, we've been even holding back that name for a long time. So,
oh my God.
But here's the thing. We're going to be talking about that over on Final Encountercast, but not just that. We're going to be playing the demo for Checkpoint over the full demo over on Checkpoint. What? That's happening over on Final Encountercast today. So we hope that you guys will join us over on twitch.tv/Final Encountercast at 5.
Wait, for those who attended the after party, is this like the 3-minute demo that we played for
No,
them
this
then?
is not the 90-second demo that we played out there. This is the full hour-long demo that we're going to be sharing. This is not even the one that we've shared over on the Patreon page.
It's all new.
This is a whole new demo that is the one that we're putting out to the public. This is going out to radio stations in just a couple of weeks. So we're going to be playing that here for you today, and we'll also give you a first look at the website. But you got to tune in over at twitch.tv/Final Encountercast at 5 p.m. We're going to do all of our normal news stuff, and then we'll be talking about Checkpoint Radio. Kahlo, I think you've also got some news as well.
I do have some news, guys. Now, I'm actually still been really busy this past week and the next maybe like week and a half, but as of January, like the 1st,
he's making a gay Terminator.
I'm making a gay Terminator. It's not as hard as you think it is. Basically, you just take a toaster and strap it to a Scalia, and that's about as good as you
And
can
we're
get.
there.
Yeah, we're there. I have resigned from my manager position at the Levi's outlet that I work at.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, snap. Wait.
Which means from now on, I have every single Sunday off.
So now we're stuck with them.
What are you
now
going to do?
You're stuck with me.
Oh.
That's right.
Great.
I was going to ask him what he was going to do with his spare time, but...
Every fucking week. Ain't going nowhere now. But on top of that, I also now get to dictate what my retail schedule is. I'm going to stay there as part-time just to make sure I have, the extra cash and whatnot. But, I've managed to come into some a bit more of a financial stability. So being able to dictate my own schedule, you guys are now, starting in February, going to see a more consistent and a more dedicated stream effort here at limitbreakradio.com.
All right. Well, there you go. And, of course, Kahlo being involved with Checkpoint Radio as well. So you can hear him on that, as well as Final Encountercast as per normal.
The chat's not as excited about this as I thought they would be.
No, they're not.
Most of them already know.
They're not really lighting up. They're not really responding that much here.
Shut up, guys!
Everyone in this room was frowning the whole time, too.
Also, as long as we're talking about employment, so just about a year ago, I had shared with you guys the story of how I had just very abruptly lost my job, my main job, and had really lost a good chunk of my income. And so I just kind of wanted to give you guys an update and share with you where that is now. I am just like a hair under full-time at this point. Like, I'm logging a ton of hours at so job number 2. What ended up happening, the radio station that I worked for flipped formats, became a throwback hip-hop and R&B station, and they started giving me a ton of hours. So it didn't matter that I had gotten laid off from job number 1. Job number 2 stepped in and increased my hours and, fully supplemented my income, and that's where I'm at now. The thing is that my workday starts at 5:30 in the morning, which is bullshit.
That sucks, dude.
That is a bullshit hour. I don't know if you guys are familiar with 5:30 in the morning.
No, what's that like?
When I go to bed sometimes.
Yeah, but it's usually just through the window and I'm half asleep.
There's no one is out there. No one. Not a single person. I can't remember what stand-up comedian had said this joke, but he was like, driving at 5:30, you'll drive past the guy who's still programming the Matrix. Like that's what kind of bullshit 5:30 in the morning is. And so my internal clock has been adjusted. People who know me well have known how I struggle with sleep. And so this has been a pretty big adjustment, and it has really impacted my ability to like focus on and dedicate and play games. Like it really... It's been a lot tougher than I even ever had imagined that it would be. I knew it was going to be tough. Like, I'm a night owl. I'm used to going to bed at 4:15 as opposed to, being awake at 4:15, having to be up at 4:15. That's a weird adjustment.
Yeah, you start getting to be about 8, 9 o'clock, and you're like, oh, it's bedtime.
It's bedtime. Yeah. And so I haven't really found a way to fit streaming into my day very well. And so that's an adjustment that I'm going through, plus the added responsibilities of the production surrounding Checkpoint Radio. That has all kind of happened all at once. And so if you guys have missed me at all on the Twitch stream, I do apologize. I wish that I could be streaming more. I'd love to be playing more games. Period. Ugh. I'm like struggling to get through Pokemon Platinum right now. You know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't.
Wait.
What?
Sun and Moon.
No. It's still not bankable yet.
Oh my God! What century are you from, Manero?
Well, I refuse to play through a Pokemon game without Kabuto. So you can go suck the underside of my nuts.
It is so weird that is your hill.
That's my hill. And I've done it every single time I've done it. Don't you dare question me. Anyway, so that's just what's been going on with me in my personal life.
I hate this. You guys have all this exciting work news and change, and got nothing. I want work.
I was going to say, what have you been up to, Escalia?
Working all the time. That's it. And I hate it. And I hate this job. And I hope my boss is listening to this and he fires me. I can only pray.
But change is coming soon, right?
Maybe. Possibly.
Fingers crossed. Maybe I don't know. Maybe
might have an interview this week.
Maybe something will pan out with Checkpoint. You never know. I mean, like with Checkpoint Radio. This is a big deal for us because this is this is a fully polished, ready to go like radio show. Yep. This isn't like this is
a big boy show.
It is.
I'm so excited for people to hear this because it sounds so good.
And I think I think. Of course, fans of Limit Break Radio, I think, will be able to appreciate it because it's our production style, it's our personalities, they're there, and it's a little bit more, it's like grown up a little bit. And I think Final Encountercast fans will, they'll hear a lot of very similar content. A lot of the discussions that we have on Final Encountercast end up making their way to Checkpoint Radio, but they happen in a little bit more of a focused way because we've only got like 12 minutes to be able to try to have that conversation.
Right.
And so we're going back and forth. Like, I especially on Limit Break Radio, Final Encountercast, we have the freedom to be able to have really in-depth discussions and like get you guys on the phone and have like really long conversations with you guys and everything like that. This is a little bit different. This has to be a lot more tightly focused because we're trying to cram a discussion that we had maybe in like 45 minutes.
Yes, down to 12.
Into 12.
Tops.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Some of our segments are 8 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's been an interesting adjustment, but I think it's also been a really cool learning experience. So we're really excited to be able to share that with you guys today on Final Encountercast, and we want to encourage all of you to head on over there, twitch.tv/Final Encountercast. That's at 5 p.m. today. We're going to be going through the demo, and if you want to sound off on it, that would be awesome. So going to our phone lines real quick before we get into FF14 news. We've actually got Cass joining us who wants to talk about my supposed death. What's going on, Cass?
Hey.
Hi. Thanks for the...
I just want to let you know
that
I wrote that thing and actually put it on my Facebook.
Yeah?
And not a single fucking person gave a shit.
Good.
That was
so
the
you're
whole
right.
point.
Nobody gives a fuck about the death.
No one cares about it. No one genuinely cares. People only write that shit to make themselves feel better. It's like a group grieving process, but I don't understand why this has to play out on Facebook, because to me that comes off as incredibly callous and self-serving. That's just me. That's my opinion about it. So that was one of the discussions we had last week over on FEC. But Cass, thank you for the lovely obituary.
I put a lot of love into it.
Yeah, we noticed that.
I could tell.
My favorite part was calling you a hardcore raider. I wanted somebody from like Reddit to see that, but I didn't know about it.
It was close. I mean, I think most people who've listened to the show like would have read that and gone, yeah, right. Like, it was pretty obvious that it was a troll. So
how amazing would it have been? Well, not amazing, but like after that discussion, if you had actually died and we had to find some way to present that, like what would we have even done? No one would believe it.
But see,
if you would have died, I would have ran that everywhere I could. I would have posted it everywhere.
That was my joke, is like, man, I feel like I should commit suicide right now just to fuck with people. I'm not like sad or depressed or anything, but it would be a great troll. Like, it's a good opportunity to troll everyone. Oh yeah, it's the last troll that you get to do.
We're answering questions from the police. They're just like, why do you think he did it? Like, was he sad? No.
Fucking FLAMELORD Calolandis.
Thank you, Isaac Newton.
Dude, Isaac Newton listens to our stuff?
I guess so. Isaac
cool,
Newton 41. That's what's up. Anyway, Cast, happy holidays, a belated happy holidays. Thanks for the obituary.
Hey, the rest of us look forward to our obituaries.
And also for the donations. Those were fun, man. So thanks, man.
No problem. Thanks.
If you want to call Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Kookie is standing by to get you connected to the show. And again, thank you, Kookie, and welcome back, because apparently that bothers Kahlo a whole bunch. All right, so
let's say it every episode.
Exactly. Let's check out what's going on in FF14 News.
This is a Limit Breaking News Update.
All right, so this week saw the release of the patch 3.5 Far Edge of Fate trailer. We'll get into that in just a few minutes. We'll break that down in excruciating detail like we like to do in just a few minutes. But in terms of new news, I want to point you guys over to the Gamer Escape Lorecast episode that happened just after Tokyo Fan Fest. They got to sit down with Koji Fox and have a really nice interview. You can read that over at gamerescape.com. They've also got an audio recording of the interview that they shared on their Lorecast podcast. And it was pretty cool. Like, I've got to say, an interesting discussion with Koji Fox, mostly concerning the production of the lore book.
I would say they didn't get actually talk about very much lore in
No,
this
not a ton. Not a ton. But, I mean, the lore book is a really big deal. And Koji talks a lot about the production of it and, the perspective that it's written in, which is all kind of, really important to, understanding where the lore book comes from. And, what I think is super cool is that, they took the perspective of, having it happen, having an in-game narrative, having an in-game voice instead of this, third-person omniscient, I know everything and I'm dictating it to you. It's someone instead written from the perspective of someone who lives in Eorzea,
right?
And who's sharing stories, who's a scholar and sharing stories in this text. And that's not that dissimilar to the way that we've produced Limit Break Radio for years.
And I mean, one of the things from the interview that I really like, and this actually adds on to when we were at FanFest, they mentioned that nowhere on there is there any kind of Square Enix logo or any type of thing like that would exist in the real world. They wanted it to be like a tome, And so going along with that, even though Koji Fox wrote it, it doesn't say by Koji Fox. It's by, like Nero said, an actual person that exists within Eorzea.
Right, yeah. And I think that that's probably one of the most fun and interesting aspects of the, of the lore book. And, they get really deep into that in the Lorecast interview. There was a little bit of, talk of 1.0 and some dangling plot threads that exist there. And what's interesting is that it sounds like some of those have been set aside for 5.0. I mean, we may actually get some resolution to plot points that at least I don't expect. I don't expect it all to be
resolved.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess it makes sense from the stance we know 5.0 is probably going to be Garlemald, and 1.0 was very heavily Garlean influenced.
That is true.
It would make sense that would be the time to resolve that, but wow, 4 expansions later, effectively?
Yeah, to sort of realize that vision, because you're right, the Empire was sort of the antagonist of 1.0, if not directly. Most people were yeah, okay, we saw the Beast Tribe stuff, we had at least 2 of the Primals, but there was all of this stuff surrounding the Garlean Empire that was pretty much left unresolved in all of their machinations and what exactly they were doing at that time. So interesting to note that we're going to go back and get some payoff possibly on some of these, long-term dangling plot threads. And the other thing that he mentioned that was really interesting is that he's dude, we've been hiring people that are fans of the game, that have been players, and have an attachment to a certain character from 1.0, or have an attachment to a certain plot thread from 1.0, so that there are people in the room that are sort of fighting for these things.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's something that Blizzard has done now for a while with World of Warcraft, is they've hired people who were big in the community, and that has gone a long way.
Hire us!
That'll be the day.
That'll never, ever happen. And I don't think I would be very good for the development process, because I'd be yeah, that's stupid. That's dumb. I don't have anything.
Nero, what do you think we should do with this killer?
Make it 11. That's what apparently that's what everyone thinks that my only suggestion is ever, is just make it more like 11.
Yeah, Yoshi approached you. What do you think we should do? And you just give him Tanaka's phone number. Talk to that guy.
Oh, also, kill the Sultana.
And everyone else.
She's not even relevant right now. It doesn't matter. You go back and you do it right this time.
More Game of Thrones.
Do you think that them resolving plot threads from 1.0, for a lot of people did not play 1.0. So how do you resolve those plot threads and still have it, have meaning for people who didn't play?
I don't know that it's I don't know that it's necessarily, because some of them have just sort of been shoehorn resolved, like the Travanche.
The horn?
Yeah, and the horn of whatever the hell that was used in
And if you're not a 1.0 player, you don't necessarily have to have all of that backstory to get it. You just go, oh, okay, I'm a MacGuffin. Whereas if you are a 1.0 player, Nero said when we first found out about that thing, he's that was a cool little thing to finally have an answer to that question.
Right.
Even if it is shoehorned, it's better than just nothing.
But I think what Koji was talking about was some of the bigger payoffs, some of the bigger, there were entire battle scenarios that they had mapped out for 1.0 that were never realized, and they had to scrap it in favor of Dalamud. So I think we're talking about things like that. That some of that Koji even specifically referenced there's a boss that I wish we had been able to do that we just weren't able to do. That I'm oh well, that is kind of an interesting. I'd like to see that, especially as a 1.0 player, to see a little bit more of that payoff. To be oh, that's where this was going.
Interesting.
Shit, that's kind of cool.
Okay, so yeah, it'll be recontextualized for us in a different way, but you'll be able to look at it as a 1.0 player and say oh, this is what this would have meant for me.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's neat.
It's interesting. You guys should definitely check it out. That's, again, the Lorecast episode over at Gamer Escape. And then there is this. I mean, we've got some previews over at the Lodestone to check out here in just a second. But we've also got this. I thought this was really funny.
Oh yeah.
Did anyone else watch this clip of Yoshi P getting kind of
being alone,
pissed off and embarrassed that he was dancing alone on a server? Oh, it was kind of
so cringy.
It's hard to watch. So basically, what happened was I think it was on New Year's.
It was, yep.
It was New Year's Eve, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a New Year's Eve countdown stream. So they had the producers of course, Yoshi P for 14, Dragon Quest 10, PSO2, and I think it was just those three.
I think those three, yeah.
But there were 4 people on stage. I don't know what that was.
There's probably some type of like host.
A host or an MC,
maybe,
yeah.
Maybe. So anyway, there was some kind of I guess competition to see who could have the most people dancing around them as they counted down for New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And what happened was that I guess like they had tweeted out or like sent out or said that
all 3 of those, by the way.
Yeah, that they would be on Chocobo server. And the character that they had logged in was on Ifrit's server.
Yeah.
And they made it even worse by choosing the gate outside Lenosia to...
Yeah, they didn't pick a hub area.
No, they didn't pick any of the cities. They picked out just outside, in the field, in the goddamn field. Yeah. And then no one showed up.
No one was there.
No one showed up. And I mean, like, some people were like, Yoshi P raged out. Like, he was, I think he, like, played up the frustration. Sort of like I do, like, on the show. Like, I definitely play up.
He pulled in a Nero?
I think a little bit, yeah. Yeah. But it was definitely, someone on the community team definitely screwed that up.
Yeah. PSO2 had more people show up than Final Fantasy 14. Something has gone wrong.
Yeah.
Now, my thought is someone on the PSO2 team tweeted out the wrong server and sabotaged it. This was an inside job.
Really?
There's failing MMO, guys.
Although, you know what? Just last week, Aniro, you were giving Nika all kinds of hell, saying that there's no way the team could tweet out something so incredibly wrong. And I'm starting to agree with her now. I think maybe there is just a level of incompetence here.
Oh my God. You know, yeah, you guys are making me look awfully stupid.
You were the ones doing that to you.
No, it was the classic blunder. You gave SC too much credit.
I might have.
You just keep doing it, man.
I might have. No, but again, Nika's out of her goddamn mind if she thinks that, like, they issue a tweet and they also issue the wrong number of jobs in it. Like, you're out of your fucking mind. Like, that's an epic fail. That's such an epic fail.
You're right, it is an epic fail. Like tweeting out the wrong server.
Or it's an epic troll. One of the two. I don't know. I mean, that's the only point that I'm willing to give her any kind of credit on. All right, so we've got a couple of previews that landed this week, especially for this one for Dune Skaith.
Yes,
looks particularly cool. Finally, we get some payoff here. So in the ancient tome recovered by Captain Radilia of the Talons tells of the floating refuge, an island created by the Makai sorcerers to provide safe haven from the calamitous floodwaters. With the disaster that befell the Void Ark, however, the island's intended residents never arrived. Kate Sith is convinced that Diabolos has instead claimed this refuge as his own, transforming what was to be a bastion of hope into a void-sent nest of shadowy nightmare.
These images look so cool.
They really do. And is that like, what is that thing that looks like it's broken open right as like you're walking in? Is that
sort of like some sort of monolith that just got like cracked in two?
Is that the coffin that got sent into the void? That Diabolo sent into the void. That kind of
maybe it is.
I mean, it like looks like the right size, but in the top,
the upper image.
The upper image. There you go.
Yeah,
it doesn't quite look right.
Cracked into.
Yeah,
or a tower or something.
I dig the design. It's a little bit like Alice in Wonderland.
Reminds me of Halloween Town.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll accept either one of those.
It looks like it kind of makes you think of Ultimesia's castle in 8 too.
Delta Prime says, "I like Dune Skaith. It's easy to pronounce."
You know what? That's fair.
That is fair.
This whole patch has been a little hard to, or the whole cycle has been a little hard to pronounce.
Yeah. unless like we actually get to the cutscenes and then they pronounce it Dunskeith or something. Oh, yeah, and then you're just like, you're just really now you're trying. God damn it. All right, and we also get a preview of some of the armor that's going to be coming out of there. And I got to say, just all of this raids,
all the same stuff.
It's so bad.
Every single time.
It's so bad.
I think the color palette is really off for me on this one. The guy on the far left. Yeah, he looks really green.
Samey.
I'm really not into it.
Yeah. I mean, not that I ever really dig the 24-man raid gear very much, but this one's bad.
Yeah. I mean, and it's been bad since Void Ark. Like, Void Ark, Weeping City, and Dunescape are all incredibly disappointing gear. I don't know I can't think of a single person that glamours that gear.
No. I've seen people use the pants for things because they're just dark.
I've never even used pieces of it, and I try to use different pieces from a different set every single time I glamour.
What? What is with the guy on the right and his weird pauldron thing sticking out here? What is this?
It's like a spike collar.
Yeah.
What is that? That is the most impractical. Here, let me mount some beast jaws to either side of my head. I'm sure that's not poking into you as you're running through and casting spells.
Beastmaster confirmed?
Beastmaster not confirmed.
Damn it.
No.
I'm so hopeful.
You're not gonna.
You know what? I hope we get a Beastmaster with no fucking pet.
Oh my god, that'd be mad. I'm gonna tell you, the only person who wants Beastmaster more than me is Juxta, and he only wants it so I won't be Red Mage in the next expansion.
That's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair. We also got a side story quest preview. Inspector's Log, the future of House Manderville is in peril.
Oh no.
Gigi, apple of my eye, beloved son, has run away with the Grand Sirs? Is that Sirs?
Sirs, I think it is, yeah.
Okay. Those elderly scoundrels. Glad, though, I was to see him regain his lost memories, his sudden revelations led him to pursue a most dangerous path. Overcome with grief for his deceased creator, he now seeks to harness his phenomenal power that he might return the dead to life. Yet I know full well that he will not find solace in the dark arts, and so
the chaos that ensues.
Well, there you go. I don't.
This needed to be one big story, didn't it?
Yeah.
Right. I thought that they had merged the two together because I hated this guy when he was with Hildebrand, and now he's off on his own. I'm not doing these quests,
dude. It really is obnoxious. I'm definitely not a fan of the Scholasticate. I mean, I don't know. I wanted to like it, but at the same time, I'm just so not plugged in, dude. Okay, where's the Facebook messages coming from?
Who's getting that?
Someone has their Facebook sounds up, and it's
not me. Facebook's
I don't even have a tab open for Facebook, so
me either.
Okay,
it's got to be somewhere.
I had one up, but maybe it was on this computer though. All right, I closed it to see if it's fine now. That was weird.
Yeah, that was getting annoying.
Yeah, right.
Sorry about the stream drop also, by the way. Comcast is being weird, so.
Oh, good.
Yay. Anyway, so, Saint Endelim's Scholasticate. There we go.
I swear Koji just screws with us.
I know, right? It's just meant to fuck with you on purpose.
Oh, the current, winter event, the holiday event, does not disappoint. By the way,
really,
the whole black cock thing, yeah. I've seen some really good screenshots.
Koji would be proud.
Oh yes.
So we also got the 3.5 Far Edge of Fate trailer.
Yes.
Which, by the way, hopefully if we don't get Comcast again, we want to take your calls, your reactions to the trailer. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. So let me go ahead and bring up the trailer right here. Oh, wow. That's in a weird... there we go. That's a little bit better. All right, so I've got it on screen. So why don't we check out the trailer?
Omega? That Hulk has been gathering dust beneath the plains of Carter since the Allagans breathed their last. And none alive knows how to wake it.
So who was that smiling there? Was that
Yeah, that was that
very subtle grin. It was the Garlean guy, right?
Yeah, it was it the Emperor or no?
The guy who was in Crystal Tower. What's his face?
Nero.
Thank you.
Nero?
Wasn't that Nero?
No,
that definitely
has, like, the hood on. No, that's probably going to be
gathering dust beneath the plains of Carter now since the Allagans breathed.
Here we go. That guy right here.
Him? I don't know who that is.
No, that's okay. That is the new guy. That's
Xenos.
Yeah, that's Xenos right there.
What a badass.
Yeah. That I was like, because I was like, okay, this is the first time that we're seeing him in the actual game, because I don't think we've met him.
Looks like Dark Knight meets Anakin Skywalker.
I was going to say, so is this the point where he gives us the samurai job?
Lol.
It's funny because Nika's not here to cry.
The last. And none alive
who's
knows
that?
how to wake
That
it.
I think is Xenos that's inside the armor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I'm so excited for this fight. Like, I usually enjoy their stationary fights when they do them. Like, 'cause they usually do them fairly well. I love this dude and just knocking platforms away. And kind of like how he, like, lifts himself up to attack again. Like,
right.
Thematically, this guy looks so cool. He doesn't look like a demon, though. When I look at him, I don't get demon as the impression.
No.
It's very reminiscent, too, of the A9 fight in Alexander with the big junk thing.
Yes,
the one
who builds himself.
Yeah. The one in the center, and then you've got the different platforms. Yeah, it is a little bit reminiscent of that. Although I think the animation is a little bit better.
Oh, much better. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that you'll also have a fall off mechanic as opposed to just an insta death mechanic with the lava. So yeah, I do like the idea, but I'm kind of with you, Kahlo, that it recycles a couple of concepts here.
What I like better about this one, though, and this actually goes for both the last two triad fights, too, is at least in the scenes it shows here, I feel like we can see him a lot more. I mean, massive bosses are cool, but I feel like it's a waste when all you can see is, like, from, their torso down.
Well, but it kind of worked with Sephiroth because you did fight him as like the smaller regular version, and then he grew into that massive thing that you fought for the rest of the fight.
Yeah, and he stayed there too. Like a lot of times, especially with the with the primals, they get really big and then they do their 2 hour and then they disappear, sort of like Alexander did. They've used that a couple of times, and that started to get a little bit repetitive. And the fact that they kept it with Sephiroth, they kept him that big, I thought was a really kind of cool and unique thing. But it doesn't look like we get that here. We just get we just get more of Zurvan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
do you think in the second half, or I assume the second half, when he kind of like comes out, like, and you can see more of his body, you think he's still going to stay stationary there?
Oh, you think he'll start moving halfway through?
I think that would be cooler.
I don't know. I'm not. I mean, because you would think like once the platform breaks away, he's actually got some mobility there. But then where are you fighting from?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm also the other. I have a little bit of beef with this because this is the second time that they've done this. I was when they did it with Sephiroth, where they showed the fight, then they showed him coming up. I felt like, oh, that kind of ruins the surprise, right? And then they're doing it again with this guy. Like, I feel like sometimes I wish they would save some of those moments for us to discover naturally on our own.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's keep looking at the video here. Okay, so there is it leaves one platform, and it seems like that's going to be the only platform that's left for the remainder of the battle.
Well, I wonder if at some point we're gonna like move to a different area to fight. Almost like maybe once he breaks out of there, we go to a different platform to fight on or something like that. Or it would be interesting to have to fight him in a really tiny spot like that. But
Yeah, I think that's actually a little bit more of an interesting mechanic, how you would then have to, use the limited space that you're given.
Stack mechanic's going to be super important in this one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And spread, too. I mean, spread, you're just going to have to be very conscious of how you spread.
Now, there's only 3 members of the Warring Triad, right? Like, he's the last one?
Yeah. Try.
So do you feel like we've really had much of a story so far? Like, where is it supposed to go after this?
I mean, it really, it's the only place where the Garleans are connected to the to the storyline right now at all.
Huh?
I think that we're going to get an idea of what the Garlean machinations are. Like, what they're trying to do right now. With Xenos kind of, coming onto the scene, and it seems like he may do some kind of usurping of some kind.
Right.
I think that throws all of that into chaos. And I mean, I'm sort of thinking that Xenos may use what the Emperor has been doing up in Ozus Law as a way to prove that he has lost his effectiveness as a leader.
Yeah, you can definitely see him dropping something like, your obsession with the Triad up in Ozus Law brought us nothing.
Right, something like that.
Kinds of lines.
Yeah. So that's at least my expectation.
Okay.
Yeah, because outside of that, it's just been Unikal High and whatever meaning he has. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't really know, although Ethos's theories that he gave on those when we had him on a couple episodes ago, I think he was definitely onto something there. So, all right, let's continue on in this trailer.
All right, Beast Tribe quests.
I did forget that we're gonna get an end cap to that, though. Yeah.
I thought that through 3.x that the Beast Tribes got steadily better, minus the Mughals. So basically the Vanu and the Nap.
I mean, I actually did this round of Beast Tribe quests.
And what was your thoughts on them? Overall, was it worth doing?
I mean, I didn't do them all. I definitely, I did them for when it was, really necessary for, what was it, the anima weapon?
The anima stuff, yeah.
Yeah. After that, I checked out pretty hard.
I thought the Nath was really cool. I didn't finish the Mughal one. The Vanu, I thought the way they executed it was nice, but this whole idea of dance battling was stupid. And to see that playing more of a role in this preview than anything else kind of makes me seem like, they really probably dropped the ball.
There was a lot of dancing going on in there. Now, don't get me wrong, one of those was the monkey, and that's awesome. But
from Johnny Bravo?
Yeah, no, I was straight up do the monkey with me. That was awesome.
Wasn't that just part of the Manderville?
Oh, I hope it wasn't them just doing part of the Manderville.
That's sort of what I thought, but yeah. I don't know. If they are doing the monkey, I'd be okay with that. I wouldn't be mad at that. All right, let's keep going here. All right, here we go. Hildebrand.
Now, what's very interesting about this is this isn't a preview. This is the whole thing. They're just showing it to you now. I thought that was a gutsy call on their part.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I don't know. Now, who was that? Who was that? That's what I'm curious about.
Can you go back a little bit and try and catch it on him there?
Yeah. I can back it up here. Who are these people? There's 3 of them, and they look like they're ready to fuck Hildebrand up.
Yeah, I mean he's immortal though. He's a primal. What are you gonna do? I don't know. Is that someone we've seen before on the Hildebrand line? I don't think so.
I don't think it is.
Everyone's just saying the old people.
Oh, the old people. Oh, are those the Sares who stole away? They're the ones who took Vivi away.
Oh,
okay. That's who that is. Yeah,
I getcha.
That's right.
Shows you how many of these quests I've done.
I've done them and I didn't remember that.
Shame on you.
You know what, Escalia, let me ask you this then. With the way that the Hildebrand crest have sort of been handled in 3.x, I mean, for a while we didn't actually think we were going to get any, despite at the end of 2.x them saying Hildebrand will return. Do you think he's going to make some type of return in 4.x?
Oh, God. Do I want him to, or will he?
Both?
I don't want him to, but yes, absolutely he will.
Why don't you want him to? I mean, I feel like, it wasn't handled very well in 3.x, but that might have been because they felt like, oh, I guess people like him. Maybe we should, and that kind of contributed to it being a dud.
If Hildebrand was one of the things that they talked about where they cut back because of budget, and now that's one of the things that would actually get the attention that it's supposed to get this time around, then I'm all for them bringing Hildebrand back and doing it right. But if Hildebrand 4.x is going to be similar to 3.x and not at all like 2.x, then no. Just let it go. It's not great. Like, I really do feel like they wanted to do St. Endelum Scholasticate all through 3.x. They wanted that to be the major thing, and people were like, wait, no, where the hell's Hildebrand? And they're like, oh, maybe we misread the situation on that one.
I think no trials. No trials.
No.
Yeah. That's kind of the big thing for me, is that there were no battle aspects to it,
and because of that, there's no payoff on anything.
Yeah, exactly. It really feels like nothing has stakes. Like you're just being treated to a set of cutscenes.
Yeah, it feels like you're watching a movie. That's all these really are. You might fight like fighting one enemy. Like in this game, fighting trash is nothing. That is not even an ask of your player. Yeah. That is just kind of like that is the equivalent of blinking at the movies.
I mean, even fighting like a character model that is big, like that doesn't even have the same, because it's still just trash. That it's like tuned to be like not a challenge.
Well, and even like when you fought Ultros and Funga, you had to learn the mechanics on that fight. I lost my first couple attempts on that fight.
Right, but I mean that was also an 8-person battle too. I mean that also had to be tuned like any other Primal fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that there's a little bit more in terms of development that goes on for that.
And I could definitely see them arguing like, hey, you know what? We didn't have the budget in 3.x to do Hildebrand properly. Now we do, and we're going to put more into it. Hildebrand will be better in 4.x. Yeah, then go for it.
Let's be honest. SE put Hildebrand into this expansion just so that Juxta could have lost that bet that he had with a Nero. That's the only reason they did it.
Oh, I love the idea that SE just spites people on this show. that's like what they have to do with their time.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe.
They gave it to a bunch of interns. Like, all right, just go write a Hildebrand story or something. We'll shoehorn it in.
They have one intern who works there, and they're like, okay, your job is to listen to Limit Break Radio. And they're like, cool, do you want notes on it? And he just says, no, just find out what would make them mad. And give me that.
That'd be fair. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, me too.
All right, let's keep going.
It's really what happened to Pops.
Oh my God.
These new hairstyles. Can they add a hairstyle that I could be into, please?
What hairstyle would you be into?
I don't know. Just once. All right. So we got some new gear here. And this is this is the new gear set that everyone's kind of been losing their shit about.
That sweet gas mask looking one, I dig that. I wish I was a caster.
It is that the gas mask is pretty cool. Like, okay, so people have been saying that this is, of course, very influenced by Metal Gear Solid, which I definitely see it. I see it for sure. Outside of the fact that it's influenced by Metal Gear Solid, I think that there's some genuinely cool glamour pieces in here. Like
pieces, yeah, I'll give you that. But like overall sets.
Yeah, not in terms of an overall set, but I'm gonna say glamour pieces. Yeah, for sure. There's some really cool stuff in here.
I dig the set on the far right. I like that one.
No,
yeah.
It basically looks like a reskinned or repurposed Sky Pirates gear.
The one that has the dude's jacket tied around his waist.
What?
That's what that is. The one on the far right, his jacket's like tied around his waist.
I think his coat just flares out at the waist.
No, look at the sleeves, dude. That's like 2 tied sleeves.
Are you sure?
The gas mask one is cool. The other one.
Are you blind? I mean, are we looking at the same thing here? Look at that. Look right at his crotch. Look right at his fucking crotch.
Oh, I thought that was just the top of his breeches.
No,
those are sleeves.
Those are fucking sleeves.
Man.
He's got that shit just fucking tied around his waist.
Now, is our guy second from the left there? Are those big knee pads, or is he rocking short shorts there? What's going on here?
Those are definitely knee pads.
Okay, good. I'm sitting at a distance here.
Yeah, clearly.
He looks like a French revolutionary infantryman to me.
I don't know. Like, the only piece of gear that I can't automatically identify what the fuck is going on with it is basically the tank helm. I need to get a side view of it. Like, that could be cool. It could be a legit helm. I need to get a better view on it, though.
Looks like he's got a big mouth for a face.
And we've had a couple of those, like the Behemoth helm, and and it's sort of, I mean, like, it is. I think it's a little bit of a callback to the Hound's helm from Game of Thrones.
Okay,
and we've seen a few of those, but I got to see it from the side. I got to be able, because like I don't know what's going on the top of it. There's like that spike coming up. And I need to know what it is.
It's like an Ascar helm with teeth.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Boy, that was a callback.
Yeah, whenever I see the little spike on top, that's what I always think of.
I could see it. All right, so jury's a little bit out. And I have to wonder, like, when you dye the caster gear, what that's going to look like.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm hoping that if you dye the helm, that it doesn't end up changing the gas mask portion of it.
Right.
Yes. Only changes the gas mask portion.
Right. Yeah.
Digging a raincoat.
Ultimate troll. Yeah, the raincoat thing. I'm not. It totally
looks like a big
that.
raincoat.
It does.
I think I only hate that coat though because it's yellow.
That's very possible.
In another color, I think I would like that. But that ugly yellow, that makes me think of like a 5-year-old wearing a raincoat.
I agree. Okay, so let's see what else. All right, so here we get a slightly better view of. I think is this the
this is gear?
The raid gear, yeah.
It is, but this looks like a slightly different set from the one that we were looking at.
Yeah, this looks different than what we saw in the other one wasn't concept art. No, that was actual pictures, right?
Yeah.
This does look different.
It looks a little bit different.
It's nicer.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't hate this as much.
I'm not into the color scheme.
Yeah.
I like the Dragoon body on this one.
The maroon is just not. Yeah, I could see that. The Dragoon body is not that bad. It's a little bit more armored.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's a little heavier. I'm not into the tank gear except for the helm. The helm is actually kind of cool.
People saying this could be the new dungeon gear.
Oh,
but they're in Dune Skaith, though. I think that's pretty.
Yeah, it's just weird they put them there.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'm still definitely not gonna be seeking it out, but I don't know. That helmet's not that bad.
What is that? Oh,
and here we get the Squall outfit.
Oh boy, has this been tweeted at me this week? Oh my god, Scully, did you see there's a Squall outfit going in?
Aren't you excited? You get to cosplay as your favorite Final Fantasy character, Squall.
What is this like? Where is this coming from? Is this our new veteran reward? What is this?
I have to imagine that it is. Yeah. I mean, all of the other referential shit has come out of the veteran
Oh my
awards.
god.
You know what?
Square Enix.
I am so glad that you hate this so much because I am never taking this off my glamour around you.
Oh my god, I am gonna trash it.
What, you're gonna drop it?
Yep. I am dropping this gear.
Why?
Because fuck this gear.
Oh, come on.
I don't want to see 1,000,000,001 little emo fanboys being like, look at me, I'm Squall, whatever.
Well, you do realize that just like even though you drop it, that doesn't mean that you make everyone else drop it, right?
Dude, no, but I can't in good conscience be like, oh my god, take your Squall ear off, you loser, and then be like, but I'm gonna keep mine.
You know what? I'm gonna make so many macros with quotes from the games.
Oh my god.
So yeah,
I'm being so original. I answered the question, whatever. Oh man, that was great.
Dot. Whatever.
I'm gonna name my carbuncle Griever.
That's pretty funny, actually.
I glamored it black because Squall would have liked that. God, I hate this. I can't help it.
When do we get our Cypher jacket? That's what I want to know.
He's so genuinely bothered by it, too.
I know. I can't even tell you why. It's just like, it didn't bug me when Zidane's gear got put in the game. Even the FF10 gear doesn't bug me that much. This pisses me off, though.
All right, Square Enix, if you actually listen to this game or to this podcast, right, and you spite us, wait about 2 months after Escalia drops that gear, then add a special option to it. You can summon a wyvern pet.
in perhaps the weirdest
yeah, that would
jump ever
it would definitely not fit thematically at all. But
that said, it would
troll the
you
shit.
guys are listening.
It would troll the shit out of them, though.
I would quit FF14. I would uninstall.
Yeah, so I'm surprised that you're not more into it. I mean,
why? What character could they put? Like, if they had a glamour in that was exactly Solid Snake, you would want that glamour?
I mean, they kind
of do.
They kind of are, sort of, but no, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. But like having a glamour in the game, like. As soon as we had gotten the Cloud glamour, you didn't see this coming?
I did see it coming, and I called it out back then when I said I don't want Final Fantasy VIII included. Ugh.
Why did you think that FF8 would get an exemption?
I just thought
because it wasn't good enough.
Well, SE doesn't think so. They're like, hey, we're remaking FF7, so here's Cloud. Hey, 12 remasters happening, 13 sequels coming out. Here's Lightning. And they do it for all those. FF8's never going to get a remake or anything like that.
Oh my God. I just had a thought.
No.
I just had a thought. I just had a thought.
Don't do this to me.
Son of a bitch.
No.
Mute Escalia for this, please.
Son of a bitch. So we're getting the Return to Ivalice raid, right?
Uh-huh.
Remember how in the Crystal Tower raid, we had all of the different gear sets that were based off of the original Final Fantasy? Like you had the crystal, not crystal. Fuck, what the fuck is the Dawn stuff? The tank gear was like straight out of FF1. It was a straight reference to
the Warrior of Light.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking of. So if they're setting it in Ivalice, we could get all of the different FF12 characters gear out of the Return to Ivalice. There you go.
That's gonna be so ugly.
Well, we can just continue the trend of the Alliance raid gear being a complete write-off, yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm calling it right now.
You think we're going to get all the KFF12 characters gear?
Vaughn, Pinello, Bosch.
They could at least pick cool characters from that game.
So we're going to get to see Juxta wearing Franz gear. Excellent.
Yeah.
That's happening.
Yep, that's going to be a thing.
That's definitely going to be a thing.
I'd like to point out when you were mentioning the idea of like Metal Gear Solid looking glamour, in my head, Anira was still wearing the Odin helm.
I don't like that that Lalafell has the closest to the accurate Squall hair.
Right, that's what I thought too.
That
I'm like, the Lalafell looks like the most accurate.
Yeah, why does the Hure look the least like Squall?
I think maybe it's the PS1 potato graphics.
Oh,
maybe that's what it is.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah,
I think you got it.
I think Squall would look a lot worse if you got your graphics on that game. So this is kind of cool.
That's we got guy here.
So we got some glowy crafting things.
The golden weapons.
Is that a big deal to anyone?
Well,
Literally
crafting
anyone.
is such a huge part of FF14 that we all care about and respect on this show. I tried. It's crafting, guys. Although I like the glowing fishing pole. Is this their Animo weapon or something?
I don't know.
Crafting item?
I don't know.
Oh, here it is.
Here we get to see the Eggy Glamours. Here you go, summoners. Here's the most useless shit on the planet.
I am so upset for summoners because it took them so long to finally roll this out, and it's just carbuncle.
Yeah.
That is such a fucking insult.
Yeah, do you kind of get the feeling that they always try to like play up Alfino's carbuncle to make it feel better that they get carbuncle?
I don't know. I still do. I think that it's funny that black is not one of the colors that you can change to. Sort of like, nah, you still can't.
Oh, the black carbuncle would be sweet.
That would be sweet, but you still don't get it. So,
no, what is it? Red, blue, and yellow? Is that it?
Don't know.
Emerald. Yeah, I think it's just the 3 that you can get a plushie of.
I also don't care.
Fair enough.
So stupid.
We also see the pizza house here.
Oh, how ugly is that?
It's hideous, but it's
when you listen to the show. No.
I was about to say, like, you say it's ugly, but you know that's what our house is going to look like soon.
It's ugly, but it's also hilarious. So I don't know.
So it's better than the Chocobo house for you was?
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, at least it like knows that it's ugly. Like this is like they didn't even try. They didn't even fucking. They were like, make it as hideous and ugly. Just put pieces all over. The place.
Whereas the Chocobo house says, "Oh my god, I love chocobos." This house says, "Yeah, we know who we are."
Yeah, kind of. That's sort of why I'm okay with it.
Okay.
It's sort of like
enter at your own peril.
It's sort of like having a couple of rusted out hulks of cars on the lawn on purpose, where you're just like, this is the vibe that I'm trying to set.
Right. You bought a rusted out Hulk to put on your lawn.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
You know that if you walk through those doors, you're going to be murdered and raped. Probably in that order.
This is less of a lifestyle and more of a choice. So
fair enough.
Ugh.
I dig the paintings. I like that.
I guess. I don't know. The fact that it's connected to the vistas, the what is it? The sightseeing log is terrible.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's actually kind of cool. Like the fact that, I mean, I think they should probably be adding more paintings already, but to add something like that to the Vista system, it's something that it probably needed when it first came out. So a little late.
I don't know.
I like the idea.
I don't know. Here we see the new map for the feast.
I like it.
Which is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, I really like it.
Very obviously Gridanian themed.
Right.
Like going forward, if this is obviously well received, which I don't see why it wouldn't be, that we could see arenas based on Limsa or Ulduar.
Well, isn't the original Wolves Den?
The Wolves Den is Limsa.
We need to see the Gladiator Pit next from Uldar, right?
Yeah.
Oh, if they just put us into another like circular gladiator pit, though, like what's cool about this is it's not symmetrical for once. You know, it looks like some new arena that you're just like thrown into. If they just send us to the gladiator pit, it's just a fucking pit with sand and stuff. That's gonna be so disappointing.
Yeah, cool except we've had the gladiator pit in the game for so long.
That's true.
That it's like to not have it as a PvP option seems like silly.
It'd be cool if they took a chunk out of Halatali and that was theirs or something like that.
I don't know.
No, because it's still just reusing stuff.
All right. Let's see what else we got here.
Oh, yeah.
Get our first look at some of the dungeons here.
Somal hard mode.
So, apparently, a lot of people sounded off and said that was designed for an Ochu in one of the Final Fantasy games.
Oh.
A lot of people.
That doesn't look like an Ochu.
It doesn't seem like it, but yeah.
Okay, well.
Now we're usually actually pretty hard on the hard mode remakes on this show. It's been a while since I've been into Somal, but this doesn't look like we're retreading our exact same steps.
Oh, no. No. Somal, in the first one, we went up to be able to get to Sea of Clouds. This one goes down.
Yeah, and like so far from what we can see of this one, like they could have named this something else, and I don't think anyone would have called bullshit. Like if they said, no, this isn't Somal, everyone would be like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the monsters look really, really cool, but I can't but help think that we're just going to be underwhelmed again. Like, why are we going back to Somal? What's at the bottom of it? Is it really going to be that important?
What is underneath the mountain? That's the question.
I mean, ultimately, I think when we get to the end, we're going to be disappointed because there's unless it's attached to an MSQ, there's very few revelations that you get. And then the first time you go through it, you get that revelation, and then you have to repeat it every single time you log on after that. And it gets monotonous. I think that's what gets monotonous about it. A lot of people saying that the first boss here looks like Bulbasaur, which...
I thought the same thing!
Oh my god, it does!
Yeah, I see.
Oh, here comes a sandworm.
Sandworms.
Sandworms. You hate them, right?
Also, the chat pointing out that this is 1.0 music.
That's where
we were trying to place it.
We were watching this before the show, and we could not figure out where we knew this music from.
Yeah. Lava Scorpion seems kind of cool. I think that Was that? I mean, it might reference something in a Final Fantasy game, but there's also a boss that's kind of like that in Dark Souls as well.
Lava Scorpion?
Yeah.
In the first one?
I think.
Is it?
Is it the first one or the third one? I don't remember. That whole game, all of those games blend together.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Except for the second one because it's terrible.
Yeah, Somal hard mode is the, I think so far my favorite looking hard mode because it does, like what Callo said, it doesn't just look like a retread of stuff we've done before. It's all new areas and new enemies and stuff like that.
Yeah, it definitely does. I think that the monster design is actually pretty distinguished from a lot of other stuff that we've gotten. So now we get our first look into the reworked diadem, and I actually think that there's some pretty cool aspects here. So let's take a look at this. So you see that flying is still going to be a part of the diadem.
Yeah, like at first I'm sitting here thinking like this doesn't really look a whole lot different.
And then the sky darkens and you go inside the crystal and it's like this whole part right here. Like, where are they now?
Yeah,
like,
where is this?
As they're going up to the crystal, like, where the fuck is this?
No, it gives me a very Sky Sea feel, though. I tell you that much.
Well,
kinda, yeah.
I and also not being stuck in that sort of first part of the diadem. I think having some change ups in the scenery.
Yeah, and the mob designs that they show in here, like there's that weird looking cat thing with like a ribbony looking mane, and then the fiery looking like giant lion thing. Those are some really cool design monsters.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to that on stream yet. Yeah, this thing right here, like the twisted kind of almost looks like a lion, but like this is some really
cool,
interesting mob design.
And it's what should have been in there to begin with, instead of just, here's a bigger dinosaur and a bigger dinosaur.
Well, it
definitely feels threatening, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, this enemy doesn't look native to Eorzea, and that's what's really cool about it for me.
True too. Oh.
Yeah, like, does that look like that looks nothing like something you would see in Eorzea.
No, not a thing. Not a single thing. I mean, it does seem to imply that we go into the innards of that crystalline structure, which I think is very cool. I'm very curious.
Crystal's colon.
I'm very curious to see what's going down. But
I really hope they've attached in some way, even if it's just a small one, just some type of narrative to this.
So, but it looks like there's an entire party fighting this one, right? But if you look in the background, in the distance, there's a whole nother one over at that purple crystal.
Well, Yoshi mentioned that there would, when a right set of circumstances were met, there was going to be an event, and you'd have to find or people in the area would have to find a way to fight it. Maybe that's what's going on here. Like, you have to break into groups and fight all these different parts of this crystal?
Maybe.
The idea of having to work together with the other alliances that are in there at a moment's notice, that's really cool.
How many people do you see being involved in this fight? I mean,
well, let's see. When the diadem first came out, was it 3 alliances were allowed in per like instanced area or something like that?
I think that's right. Yeah, I think it was 3 alliances.
I could see the strongest bosses in there requiring all 3.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
You think 3 alliances for the strongest stuff? I don't know. I could see 2 maybe.
Oh, I mean, obviously depending on you know how well you work together with them and how prepared your party is. I mean, it's possible that you could take them down over a longer period.
Something kind of like Dynamis then, where you could go in with 36. I'm
genuinely excited for it, but you know what? We've been hurt before, guys.
Well, Anero's been hurt before, especially by Diadem.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't all that disappointed with the system. It just wore really, really quickly.
Yeah.
I thought if they had continued to grow the system and expand on it, like if this was what we were working towards the first time, that would have been so fascinating. Although, man, can you imagine if like this was a part of the system the whole time we just didn't know?
Oh, like we just did not experiment enough with it to unlock any of it?
Yeah, nobody decided to like go investigate that crystal structure in the middle, and there was a door there the entire time. Like, how fucked would that be?
Womp womp womp.
I love the idea that they haven't actually changed Diadem at all. They've just cut a new trailer that shows the rest of the stuff so people will actually go find it.
There has to be an NPC inside that when you zone it for the first time, they go, well, it's about time you got here.
So we see all three of those lasers sort of combining into the center and spawning a whole bunch of, by the way, dark elementals. Dark
elementals, yeah.
Yeah, that seem to be hanging out there. And then I guess at some point it triggers this crazy glowy lion guy.
Fire lion. Everyone's favorite enemy.
Right.
Flaming Leo.
So
interesting seeing all the dark elementals inside the crystal. Are they going like with a corrupted crystal kind of theme this time around? Something like that. It's
I don't know.
One of Essie's usual favorites.
Yeah. But it does look like you've got three separate efforts that are going on within this instance that then combine to get this to pop. Which again, I'm gonna side with Kahlo on this. That way better than a big dinosaur.
Oh yeah,
way more threatening, way more interesting.
Now, I wonder if they're trying to get it to pop or trying to keep it from popping.
I would think get it to pop.
I don't know.
Although, okay, see, now we've also talked about how Diadem would be cool if they put in not just monsters, but some type of like challenges or objectives. What would be cool is instead of just being like, all right, there, you pop this monster, go and kill it now, is if some type of thing starts and you have to, maybe choose between, letting something pop and killing it, or doing a certain set of objectives, like, killing all these dark elementals or running some type of gauntlet to stop something from popping. And if two different types of rewards came from both of those, that'd be pretty boss.
Yeah, but we know that Square Enix isn't really all about giving us a whole bunch of varied rewards.
Right. Well, or I could just see like you can either win by stopping it from spawning or by killing it once it does. And if it does spawn, it's way harder.
Maybe.
Like kind of like a Elder Sign Arkham Horror kind of thing. Like your goal is to stop the big bad from spawning. And if it does, you're probably going to lose. You might win, but you're probably going to lose.
I don't know. I think I like the concept of trying to get it to spawn instead of keeping it from spawning. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Let's see what else we got here.
Oh yeah,
here we go.
Here we go.
Dunescape preview.
I think Boobs McGee is back to being arrogant and self-confident after being whiny.
That's right.
She's so gonna die.
So here's the first. Here we see the first fight of Dunescape, and this seems to be a heavy callback to what was the fight on the
Evray, Final Fantasy X.
Evray, is that what it? Yeah, yep.
I'll never forget that name as long as I live.
It was a hard fight.
It was an insanely hard fight. I hated that fight.
I was stuck on that fight for a very, very long time. That may have made me rage quit. It may have made me rage quit that game.
I did rage out once, and a lot of the problem was I hadn't leveled Waka at all up to that point because I hated Waka.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be fucked.
Oh, that fight was brutal without Waka because my characters had been like Yuna, Tidus, and like Kimari. Like I didn't even have Lulu.
Kimari.
I did.
Wow.
He had a polearm.
You realize who you're talking to, right?
He had a polearm.
Yes, I do.
Anyway,
in every corner.
Anyway, but he does knock the railings off. We do see that as we go in. So, but we don't see how he ends up impacting the platform. That's what we don't know what that mechanic is going to be. Is it going to end up being like, the goddess?
The goddess. Oh, please! I would love for the boat to start rocking at some point.
Yeah, like how is it going to be in wind gusts?
Well, we see the wind gusts on the.
Well, we see tornadoes, and I'm sure that those will bounce us around. Bounce us around in some form or fashion, toss us up or whatever.
I'm curious to see if they'll just be a knock-up or if they can throw you off.
I would like to get thrown off. You cannot participate in any the rest of the raid until it wipes.
Until like even if they clear the boss,
that's not going to happen.
It'd be so funny.
That's not going to happen. So yeah, I think that this looks like a really, really interesting fight. Yeah, can't wait.
Here's our look at Dune Scathe. I love the aesthetic of this area.
Yeah, it's built really, really well.
The city proper that we're now fighting Jester Dude in, I can't remember his name either. I think that this is a really, really cool design.
Oh yeah.
And I'd love to see more of this. Like, this to me feels much more like a Dynamis callback than anything pre.
Very Dynamis. Like I say, it makes me think of Ultimessia's castle. Just like this feels like old Final Fantasy to me. Like that background aesthetic. Like this feels like a backdrop to when you're just like, hey, random encounter fight, and that's your backdrop.
Right. Yeah. I definitely dig it. And
what do you guys think to what Cilician says right here? That he has a feeling that Dune Scathe is going to be the new housing area.
No. I mean, what? Wait, what? Really?
If we purge it of the demonic, fiendy essence, you basically have a nearly perfectly preserved.
God, I love that idea.
Never gonna happen.
I love that idea. I think that is such a long shot. If Square Enix did it, believe me, I would commend them in a heartbeat.
Yeah, like we eradicate Diablos and his infestation of the place, and then we live here.
It's a great idea. I don't think that Square Enix would do it, but I think it's a great idea. I love the idea.
Oh my god, that'd be sweet.
I dig it.
Halloween. This is Halloween.
It really does feel like Halloween Town. Oh my god!
Jack Skellington's gonna pop out any minute now.
It's like if Tim Burton jizzed all over a map on FF14, this is what it would look like.
You know what? When Nika plays Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm gonna demand that she report if this area is in it, because it looks like something that would be in there.
It does. It looks a little bit Kingdom Heartsy with like some FF14
themes.
Yeah, some elements thrown in there. Yeah, I don't know, man. It could be cool. I mean, I think it will be cool. Could it be the new housing area? I don't know, man. Because it does seem.
Also, adding on that they said they couldn't tell us where the new area was until after the patch.
Ooh. See, this is one of those times where it's like, we want to believe that could be true, but we've been hurt a lot.
I know.
And it does not, if that is what they're doing, it is so out of the norm for Square Enix in what they've done in FF14. That would be a truly original thing. Like something I've never seen them do in this game.
Yeah, I just don't know, man. I like I said, I want to believe it. I'd want it to be true, but I just don't know.
How weird would it be to like be in your house there and then queue into Dune Scathe? That'd be so awkward.
Yeah, it would be.
It doesn't seem like something they would do.
But that's that MMO time bubble compression thing. All right, let's check out more of this. Approaching the castle. Yeah, the castle with the hearts. I could have done without the hearts on the castle. That's an element that I think that is what makes it feel Kingdom Heartsy.
Maybe. I know it's because of what the boss ends up being, but it's like, all right, that's still kind of weird.
Yeah, and is anyone else surprised that after all of what, all of Diablo's meddling in this whole storyline is, we don't fight him at all?
I don't know. I think she might morph into Diablos at the end of it.
I think we might. Yeah.
I think we'll definitely see Diablos.
Yeah. We definitely didn't see all of the bosses, that's for sure. But
she reminds me of one of the Magus sisters.
I don't know. She reminds me of the Gotharita Pokemon is what she looks like to me.
I'm only mad because you're right.
I'm not. I really like those hand ads. Those look really cool.
Yeah.
And the things that are coming out, the wings that are coming out of her back, that almost looks like straight out of Evangelion.
Like sleeves.
Don't even fuck off.
No, I like just about everything about this fight. I love like the stained glass kind of
really.
mosaic.
That's what I was going to take issue with. Is like that.
Really?
That was my least favorite aesthetic part of that.
Oh, I think it's really cool. I love them because I think it goes well with the music in the fight. Like the music, kind of that choir-esque like portrayal of the usual music that you have there.
Sure. I mean, yeah, it fits thematically, but also at the same time, like if you kind of go back and look at it, like there's not much outside of the stained glass. Like the rest of the room is very dark, and you don't really see much of it.
Oh, I was talking about like the moves that she does that kind of bring up the stained glass mosaic.
Okay,
motif.
yeah. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I was talking more about the arena,
the actual area.
Yeah, it's more of like it's like another circle arena just with weird lighting.
Yeah, well, and the stained glass looks more like a jack-o'-lantern or something like that.
Well, and it
looks
does
like Halloween decorations.
Seems to morph. Yeah, I don't know what again, Halloween Town. What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
All right, let's.
Is this truly so complex a puzzle?
We'll get some VO.
Or have you no stomach for the obvious solution? Or do you mean to send in your vaunted hero there, as you always do?
I love that because time and time again, Square Enix goes back to that, whether it's Minfilia being like, I can't believe I'm asking you to do this, like when she's giving you dumb like fetch quest stuff to go do. They go time and time back to this, like, okay, how about you do something for yourself, or you could just rely on the Warrior of Light again.
Yeah,
like,
right.
They almost play up our expectations as a player, where like we're like, yeah, I'll go do it. But at the same time, we're just like, yeah, like, oh, I'm asking the Warrior of Light to go check up on Tataru.
Now, I think this is really interesting, and I wanted to back it up to this scene specifically, because this is, isn't that the double shield Rogadin dude from the Garleans, right? That's who that is, but he's got the big, gigantic hammer that Nero had during the 2.0.
Wow, is that him?
Storyline. I think that's him without his helmet.
Yeah.
With a different set of gear. We didn't see much of him. We only got that one fight against him.
Yeah.
In that one area that I can't remember.
I thought that's because we killed him, didn't we?
I didn't think we killed him.
We didn't?
I don't think so.
We did. He's the one that you fight.
I didn't want to leave him alive.
Which of the Garleans have we actually killed? I mean,
successfully or attempted?
I mean, they keep coming back. They have a way of re-emerging. Right. I mean, did you think that we killed Nero too, and then was surprised to see him when he popped up over on the Crystal Tower cutscenes?
Yeah, you're right.
Fuck that guy. We killed Gaius.
Although all the time now you see that whole Gaius lives thing.
I was gonna say, it's like,
did we really kill him? I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Maybe.
Nobody's allowed to die unless you're a Rogadin.
Yeah. Well, apparently not. There he is.
Even they're being spared now.
But interesting that he's got
insight job.
Interesting that if it is him, he's got the hammer.
Hey, wait a minute. So
he's got Nero's hammer.
With him appearing, I think Mikote and Lalafell, the only Garlean races that we haven't seen represented yet.
That's because the Garleans are smart and they execute them on sight.
Hey, and the Aura? Well, they did execute them on sight. Never mind.
Anyway, but also what's notable is that this scene is in Cartno. They're in Cartno right now.
Yeah, I kind of get the feeling like the main scenario might be taking us into Omega. Kind of.
Oh, was that not clear by the opening fucking sentence of the trailer?
But when's the last time that the next raid was influenced by the main scenario? Only Bahamut, right? Only Binaquil, because Alexander wasn't at all, right?
Is Omega the raid? I don't think it is.
No, you're right. He's not.
Omega's just one of the names that they dropped in terms of a fight.
Speaking about that opening line, though, when Raubon's like, "Oh, that old thing collecting dust." How common of knowledge is Omega?
Yeah, well, and wait, isn't Omega the raid in Stormblood?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Am I crazy?
I don't know.
Omega's the next raid.
Is it?
He's the next raid tier.
Yeah, they talked about it had like
Omega is the next raid. Okay.
In Stormblood, yeah.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
all right. I believe you. Shut the fuck up, Chad. Jesus Christ.
Wow, they're lighting up now.
Yeah, that got him going.
In time.
No, it's not, guys. Fuck you. It's not. Omega's just a fight. I'm going to just say that now because it makes every one of you mad.
Yeah, you're right, though. That he is the double shield guy because that one shield it's just black instead of white now. But
yeah, I think that there's definitely some changes going on there. But
yeah, I don't know. What do you think this means? Are Garleans Ascians? Can they never die? Or do they just have really good plot armor?
I just want to tell this guy Joshy in the chat to go fuck himself.
Oh, okay.
Just
go fuck yourself, Joshy.
There you go.
Got you covered.
So yeah. I don't know. Is it that big of a surprise though that Omega would be the next raid tier?
No, I don't think so at all.
I mean, well, then what was the question associated with it?
I was just saying, when's the last time that the main scenario played into it? It was only Bahamut, right? That the main scenario played right into the raid? Because Alexander, not at all. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, Alexander was a complete side story.
Yeah,
right.
Alexander was completely side story. Bahamut, even though it was kind of on the side, it's still it was influenced by the main scenario.
And they did say in an interview that they wanted to tie the raid with the MSQ a little bit more closely than they did with Alexander, because you're right, Alexander did feel like this entirely side quest, and I don't think I think served as an additional demotivating factor to why people didn't do it.
Right.
So, all right, let's continue on here.
Yeah.
Do, and pray the world is not engulfed in flame.
Might we not persuade you to join the expedition, Lady Yugiri? My blade is yours.
Okay, so since they pointed out Lady Yugiri specifically there, I think that Yugiri is going to die.
She's dead.
That's so lame. Like why? Because first of all, Blake was the voice actor from start to finish, right?
Yeah.
They didn't change her halfway through.
Yes,
okay?
C and Blake. Yes.
I hate this idea, both in games or movies and stuff, that if the voice actor dies, we have to kill the character off now. And I'm not saying that they should just recast them and continue to use them, right? Even though that obviously would be a lot easier in the case of voice acting, but. Why?
Well,
I think they just need someone who's important but not important that they can off.
Look, I think that Square Enix and Final Fantasy have an opportunity to pay tribute to C and Blake in a way that I don't know people would be expecting, because first of all, because it happened so long ago.
Right.
And second, because it's such a strange occurrence to have that big of a tragedy, that visible of a tragedy that happened to one of your actors. And so, I know that Square Enix has recast a lot of the voice actors, and not because they died, but just because they needed somebody else who was more available. Whatever. They switch people out all the time. I think specifically with Yugiri, though, you have an opportunity, you have a moment to pay tribute to someone who really, went through an incredible tragedy and be able to touch people. And I think that she deserves that, too. Do
you think that it'll... I absolutely get where you're coming from, but the fact that Yugiri hasn't really been used or referenced since 3.2 or something like that people will feel that?
I know that I would. Just, based on how much we've talked about it, and how visible it was for the community. I mean, people took notice when that happened. And I think that if they just straight up replace her and keep her going as a character, more people would end up talking about that than they would a tribute. I think a tribute is a nice, fitting, emotional, touching way to see the character off. But if that character's not terribly critical to the plot, why keep her around? I mean, what purpose does it serve to recast Yugiri? What, is it just because you like her?
Right now, you're right. There probably wouldn't be a purpose. I mean, if they ever want to take us to Doma, though, obviously having her around, that would...
You have all the other Domans.
And none of them are as visible as she is, though.
No, none of them are as visible as she is, but you have all of them. You took all of them in as refugees. There's so many opportunities for that door to be open to go back to Doma. It doesn't have to be through Yugiri.
Yeah, no, you're right. But also, I think, I don't know, it doesn't. I feel like whenever, because it is time for someone to die. It's been a while since we've had like a major character death, right? But I feel like whenever they get to that point, there's some part of it that just doesn't quite work all the way, you know? Like, okay, yeah, you're right. This would be a fitting tribute, but all of the Blake stuff aside, looking at just the game, does that feel fulfilling that Yugiri comes back suddenly just to die?
Well, it is weird because she's been like so out of the picture for a while, and she doesn't have a lot to do with what's going on right now. But like, I feel like most people, when you say like, "Oh yeah, Yugiri hasn't been around for a while," they know why she hasn't been around.
Yeah,
for a
I think
while.
that's what it is. Is that Square Enix wanted to have some distance from that character. Just based on that they like you've got to deal. If you're a company, you've got to deal with that kind of shit very delicately, because you could be seen as an opportunist. You could be seen as someone trying to capitalize on a tragedy. You definitely don't want those kinds of sentiments running around. And so, yeah, I think taking this amount of time off from the character and then bringing her back to kill her and then making that sort of the tribute, yeah, I think that's very fitting.
Give her hero's death in game.
Exactly.
I don't know, something doesn't sit right with me. But
And straight up, build her a monument, build her an in-game monument to the character.
That'd be cool.
That would be really cool.
Yugiri statue, hero of the Domans.
That'd be very cool. I think that would be really neat. All right, let's continue.
Baelsar's Wall.
Here we finally see Baelsar's Wall. Some new Magitech there too. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yep. Two kinds of new, wasn't it? No, just the one.
No, I think it was just the new Magitech walker.
Sweet. I love Iron Giants.
Yeah. We've also got this too. It sort of looks like the Gob Walker a little bit.
Yeah. What really intrigues me about this whole video is the presence of the Twin Adders.
Oh yeah,
because them being here means that whatever is the major catalyst for the war that we're about to go into happens in this patch, because Gridania's declared war.
Well, I mean,
that's where the wall is. It's right next to Gridania.
It's in Gridania. So we actually also see Limson troops. It looks like.
Yeah.
Right, but this could like the attack on Baelsar's Wall could have easily been a more of an infiltration thing where we're attacking, like us, the Scions, the warrior.
Oh, so you're saying that it's
in military might going against.
Yeah,
them.
That's a good point. That's actually a good point, because it did seem like initially the Baelsar's Wall mission was going to be very tightly focused on us, but this does seem very much.
This is a military operation. The allied nations of Eorzea, they have declared war.
Now I'm bothered, because you're right. I think I originally thought, like you did, that it was supposed to be some type of like infiltration thing, because that makes sense for a dungeon. There's only 4 of us going in, but if it's like all out, we're declaring war and it's just a dungeon,
right?
That seems like another big missed opportunity.
No. If it's your first battle of the war, that's a dungeon's appropriate for that.
But I have to be honest though. I don't feel like Eorzea had many stakes in Alamigo, or at least they don't right now.
Well, that's what I mean. Like that when I was saying like this. Something is going to happen in this patch. Like the catalyst for this war beginning is happening in this patch, and that's
so it's not
exciting.
Just us getting involved with the conflict in Girabanya, but that the Girabanyan conflict is going to spread to Eorzea.
Something has to happen to make this.
You know what? He's right. Something that we didn't see, probably Omega related, I think is going to pop up that initiates the war. And then they'll probably spin it, like imagine propaganda style. They spin it as, we're going to liberate Alamigo, but really we're going to get their oil.
Really, we're going for the ceruleum.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's...
It has to end now.
I'm doing all the new Magitech.
Yeah, there's a lot of new Magitech going on here.
And a primal.
Yeah. Now
this is the thing.
Now this is, I think, our very first look at Omega right here in these schematics.
Ooh.
Which it does seem to be a bit of a callback to the 11 Omega that was on all 4s.
Yep.
I'm very interested in this design. Now they do mention a primal, And I'm wondering if they're referring to Omega as the primal, or if they're talking about something else.
Yeah. You're right. That sketch looks so much like FF11's Omega.
It really does.
How would Omega be a primal, though?
Yeah, we know he's an elegant construct.
Now, if he operated similar to how the Ultima weapon did, where he was able to basically eat primals, I mean, I suppose it's possible that if this does have something to do with Omega, that he releases one or something, maybe? Whoever has control of Omega was trying to, I don't know, take a primal out of him or something. I don't know. This whole idea of there suddenly being a primal, that came out of left field for me.
Yeah, I was really surprised to hear that word in relation to, like, because Garleans hate primals.
Yeah.
Why would they use one or summon one?
But I mean, Baelsar definitely, the Omega, and his use of Omega. I mean, it does seem weird for them to be referring to it as a primal, and I don't think that they would refer to Omega as a primal. I think that they would refer to it as a weapon, much like they did Omega.
Ultimate.
Yeah.
Ultimate. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I think this primal's gonna be something else down here. I'd be like, that might be a visual of Omega, but I don't know that is the primal that they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Death completed the ritual. The primal is taking shape.
Yeah. So there we get that quote from the midget.
Papolimo.
Thank you. I'm blanking on names today. I don't know why. I'm struggling with names today.
Well, I'm a Scalia, and we've got Callow on the line.
Shut up.
Oh.
And he says, death completes the ritual. The primal is awakening. And we've seen, like, this specific, like, this has happened a couple of times. This specific animation with the blocks coming around. What is being awakened exactly? Not clear.
I don't, like, it makes me think of Eden from FF8, the way the blocks come in like that. And I can see, like, Eden being a Garlean, like, deity almost, but
But remember, like, this was like, this is sort of what, it's similar to what Louis Soix had tried to construct around Bahamut to be able to prevent the impending calamity that Bahamut was trying to build. Right down to the spears, right down to those spears. It's almost identical to that process.
Yeah.
So I don't think that we're actually seeing the primal being born here. I think that someone's trying to prevent it. And
is that why Papolimo took Tupsamati? To try to contain the primal?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe that's why he wants it. That would make sense.
How has there still been no hint or clues, though, on what primal this could possibly be?
Yeah, I have no idea who could be popping out of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and it really sort of comes down to, are they going to call Omega a primal or not?
All right, here, Penguin Mint has an idea. He says that the battle at the wall is a setup by the Griffin to summon a primal, and Sid, Nero, Scions, they somehow use Omega to take it out?
Well, the Griffin we know is trying to summon a primal.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, us using Omega weapon seems like a dicey prospect. Like, that seems outside of our character.
Well, maybe, except that we think Nero is kind of a decent guy at this point after the Crystal Tower events.
What if
Nero
he is at the very beginning of this, he is sort of deriding us like, all right, who's going to step in? Your warrior of light, you're going to let him save the day
I
again?
have a better idea.
Why don't you do the hard thing? Why don't you make the difficult choice and actually end this once and for fucking all?
And
holy
keep in mind
shit!
Too, let's say they do use Omega. The raid is called Omega: A Bend in Time. What if using Omega causes some type of consequence? That's how it kind of like exists parallel to the main story and still has something to do with it.
Oh my god!
Hang on!
Fuck it up.
Hang on! I think you guys just touched onto something really interesting, because what happened the last time Tupsamati was used? We got sent back.
5 years in the future?
we got sent into the future.
Yeah.
Right? So if Tupsamati has some kind of time
altering power,
aspect to it, then could it be that we end up initiating a calamity that then we are somehow tasked with, of course, because you said the bend of time, that we are then tasked with going and trying to prevent. That we set these things into motion. And I look, it does sound a little bit in concept similar to Alexander, except we set none of those things into motion.
Right, that was all set in motion for us.
Right. I think it delivers a little bit more of a narrative impact if we're the ones that are setting it in motion, and now we're going and trying to prevent it through adjusting time or whatever it is.
Right, we're going to get back to 1985, and it's going to be awful. Biff rules the world now, so we got to go fix it. I like it. If you put it into a Back to the Future analogy, I can understand it.
I don't know.
I love this idea. Oh my god, I'll lose my shit if that's what this is.
You know what would be really cool, because I think that if you expand the time aspect, and someone had kind of Zephyrin, he kind of sparked this idea, but since you have so much time and history in this game to be able to play with, that if you just even took some of the basic zone designs or some of the basic stuff from 1.0 and put our characters straight into that, God. Like, dude, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, you get dropped off in Surthus and it's like green again.
Old school green.
Yeah, your jaw would hit the floor.
I would shit my pants. I would shit my pants. I mean, and if you do that in an instance, you don't have those zones that exist in big ways. You're using, excerpts of it. Like if you got thrown into the old school, one of the old school mines that existed out in Old Da, and it wasn't, the linear dungeon that but instead it was this is that thing from 1.0. Like, that would be so fucking cool. I don't know. Like, I think that, because clearly they still have that data. Even if they dropped us into an excerpted portion of, like, empty ass old.
Time mage confirmed, bitches.
Thanks, evil hippie. Much appreciated. But even if they threw us into an old ass version of Old Da or Lenosia, I can't help but think, like, the real nerds of this game, the real 1.0 nerds of this game would lose their fucking mind going like, I remember this.
Oh, man, here's
old school Shroud, old school. Yeah. Oh my god, like if you want to talk about a difference in zone design, fucking 1.0 Shroud to 2.0 Shroud, unrecognizable.
Even if you don't go like that far back, I would love if like this moment where we choose to use Omega is kind of like the split point, and we eventually have to return to this point, and like maybe like the final fight in Stormblood is to come back and actually fight this primal that we just cheated and used Omega on. Like we have to fix it by actually fighting it instead.
Now keep in mind though that as the chat jumped all over us about that, Omega being the raid in 4.0, that the MSQ is probably gonna glance it somehow, but we've got to have this whole thing that plays out with Xenos first,
right?
And the whole plot of Girabania that sort of plays out first before we can get there. So it does seem a little bit weird that we have so much setup for Omega happening now in 3.5 that may not even get to pay off until 4.1 or 4.2.
Right. But if you had to, let's say Omega absorbs this primal, and this primal is super powerful and corrupts Omega in some way, and you've got this major problem mode Omega that you have to deal with now in the Omega race, the final version of that is you jump back to this moment and you fight that primal the right way instead.
See, now I see evil hippie kind of making fun of me saying old school Henger's Crucible. The thing is that nobody made it to Henger's Crucible. Nobody fucking saw that part of the Corthus map.
No.
Nobody saw that shit. Nobody even, because it was so random and obscure that people had to make YouTube videos about it. It was an unused asset. You couldn't get there. You couldn't actually get there. You had to like glitch your way through an invisible wall to get there. Okay? What I'm talking about is using notable places. People like places that people would recognize that they did adventure in. Cassiopeia Hollow. That's gone. That was wiped out by the Calamity. But if we had to go back and find something in Cassiopeia, whatever, like whatever the fucking wraparound is. But if that was a dungeon that we had to go through, or even if that was where a portion of the raid was set in, you know what I mean? Like that to me would be interesting. And you don't have to just stick it to stuff in 1.0. I'd love to see stuff from the third astral era, the fourth astral era, and you can do that quite cleverly by using the same format that Square Enix uses for this game by making everything an instance.
And
Take a taste of this, guys. Okay, look, when we look at Alexander, when we look at Void Ark, Weeping City, the Binding Coil, like all these different things, the title of the raid was something that we went into, right? So we're talking about, time travel. It's like, oh no, but the raid is Omega, so we have to fight Omega. Do we?
Oh,
if Omega is just the title, Omega, the bend in time, and what if Omega is just the catalyst, or it's just the vessel that we use to travel to do whatever we do? Does Omega actually have to be something that we fight?
I mean, I think you would have a lot of disappointment if you don't end up fighting Omega, even if it is just like kind of like when we do eventually fight Alexander, we fight that miniaturized version of it. Mm-hmm. But you're right. Like every other time it's referred to a place that we've gone. So maybe the bend in time, it could be, you could argue like, yeah, it's going to be 12 different instances in time that your interaction with Omega is affecting, and you have to go to each one and fix it.
I don't know, maybe I like this idea that for once maybe the raid Omega isn't actually like where we go to what we have to fight, but I want to see them branch out and do something different. I don't want to see the exact same pattern of raid design and fights narratively that we've had for how long now? I
just don't think you name it after Omega and O12S isn't against Omega.
Yeah.
Like, you have to fight him at some point.
No, you're right. And that very well could be possible. Yeah.
But I dig the idea that, like, yeah, Omega the Bend of Time more or less refers to just us traveling around to different parts in time. Like, if he actually just, like, we did this thing with Omega where he absorbed this primal, and now it has screwed up 12 different spots in time. Go fix it.
Right, yeah.
I'm super into that. Like, if we could actually, like, see, like, Marasidia or something like that in its heyday, or Alleg in its heyday.
Dude, and that's the thing, is that they have the opportunities to do this because their structure is to make everything instanced. This would have been something very difficult to do with something, say, for like 11. 11 couldn't do it. No. They had to dedicate an entire expansion to it because those zones had to be persistent. They had to always be there. They had to have activities in there. But if you make it so that it's this very narrow section of, of the city.
Of surface.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is incredibly clever and incredibly like a great callback.
And as long as you fill it with interesting stuff and stuff that gets us talking, like if you have to like really have your lore team going ham on this part if you're going to do it.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree, and it's not like the lore team hasn't been doing an amazing job.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
Makai was great.
And again, referencing back to that Gamer Escape interview, that what they were talking about, where some of these long-term things from 1.0 never really got realized. Like, what if we're getting a chance to go back in an instanced way, be able to address some of those things that were happening in 1.0. I think that would be very cool. All right, let's wrap this up. We don't have much left in this trailer.
Hit the button.
I gotta hand it to the editor of this trailer, and something really big blows up.
Something goes boom.
That's a huge explosion. So, yeah. first, just again, kudos to the editor on that last sequence, because that was really, really cool.
And almost every time, like these trailer videos scarcely disappoint.
Oh, definitely. Now, this, I kind of wanted to float this question out here, and if you want to call the show, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. But do you think that this trailer only addresses part 1, or is this a full trailer for all of 3.5, and some of the stuff that we see in here isn't going to fully pay off until March?
I think this is just 3.5. I don't think it's 3.5.
Just part 1.
Well, at least
I don't know. Well,
is part Diadem, and we know Diadem's not coming now.
Well, hang on. Is part 2, is that 3.55, or is?
Oh, I don't know.
I
assumed it was, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they've never done this before. I don't think, like, where you have a part 1 and part 2. Although was 2.5 like that? I don't remember. I don't recall.
I just remember 2.5 and 2.55.
Yeah, I remember a second injection of story. See, I think that they could do part 1, part 2, and then 3.55 even separately.
Right, like the MSQ, there has to be more, because we didn't even see like the Griffin or anything like that.
Right,
like, there's got to be way more that's going to play out before we hit Stormblood.
And as people are pointing out in the chat room, PvP maps are slated for 3.55. Diadem is slated for 3.55. So, I mean, are we going to just get? Did we just see a trailer for shit that's not going to pay off for 3 months?
I think what they did is the trailer shows all of the content coming, but they have to have something for part 2 as well, right? They have to have something to hype up part 2 as well.
Man, I think we're going to get a lot of Omega setup, and it's not going to pay off until March.
I think, as far as the MSQ section of this trailer is confirmed, I think that's all part 1.
That explosion? No way. They're ending the expansion on that explosion.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
If you're ending the expansion on that explosion, why show it now?
That's a big fucking explosion.
It is, but why show it now? If you're ending it on that, no way.
Got to be a cliffhanger going into 3.0, man, or 4.0.
I agree, and show the explosion then. Don't show it now.
No, that's what I'm saying. At the end of whatever the MSQ ends up being for 3.5, right? Like the very end. That's what they're going to end it on.
But if you were going to end it going to Stormblood on that explosion, you wouldn't show it in that trailer, because now, as we're building towards the end of the story, all we're going to think is like, well, yeah, but there's going to be a huge explosion.
That's a good point.
You can't have a decent resolution because, we haven't seen the explosion yet.
That's a good point.
Plus, the other thing you have to keep in mind, too, is, this isn't a movie. This isn't the end of one TV show going into the next one. We still have to be our characters between the end of 2.55 3.55 and 4.0. So you can't just be like, explosion, fade to black till Stormblood comes. It'll be like, imagine the whole Ulduar stuff, right? Like, okay, yeah. Big battle went down. People might be dead, but we came out of the ruins, got rescued, carted off to somewhere. Now it's like, now we have to actually worry, for how many months what actually happened to people. So it can't just end on the explosion.
But isn't that exactly the sort of cliffhangers that they wrote for the end of 2.55, where you think you come out of that going, I'm a fugitive, everyone I know and love is dead, and now I'm on the run, and we thought that for fucking 6 months until we got 3.0.
Exactly. So we see the explosion in part 1, right? And then we have to deal with all the questions in part 2. We get no answers, so that explosion still stands as like a good end mark. But now we just get to set up all the questions and all the what ifs and all the what the fuck's gonna happen going into 4.0.
I don't know, man. I just think that this part 1 is gonna end up feeling very, very thin, stretched thin. And I think that we're gonna get the meat of what we want. And I think the most compelling stuff out of that trailer, I don't think we're gonna see till March. I really don't.
I'm trying to remember, what was 2.5's MSQ edition like? Was it thin?
What, 2.5?
2.5, yeah. Because, 2.55 was obviously humongous. Those two long-ass cutscenes.
Right.
But was 2.5 thin, or was 2. 2.4 was Shiva, right?
Right. I can't recall.
I don't remember either.
I would have to go, but I'd have to go back and listen to our episodes.
Yeah, I don't remember for 2.5.
I just don't.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think that 3.5 will be thin, but I don't believe that explosion closes it out just because we've seen it already. If it is the ending, you wouldn't show it now.
I'll accept that. I would accept that because then again, though, I mean, the people who make trailers spoil the end product all the time.
They do.
All the time. Hopefully Square Enix is smarter than that. But
here's the thing, is like if that is like they're going to have to be telling, like the narrative is going to have to be so strong that we forget that explosion's coming. We can't remember that. Because as long as we remember that, we're just gonna be like, well, something's about to go wrong because we haven't seen that yet.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. Let's go to our phone lines. By the way, if you'd like to call Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. We'll talk to Amira Faywin of Excalibur calling in for the first time. What's going on?
Hi, guys. Yeah, it's my first time calling in. I've
Welcome.
been listening to the show for a long time now.
That's awesome. Thanks.
But I was always working Sundays, so I could never actually call in. I always had to listen to it on iTunes.
Glad that you had a Sunday off where you could join us and hang out. So what do you think of the 3.5 trailer?
I want to talk about Servan, because the
All right.
Warring Triad, to me, during all of 3.0, has probably been what's kept me playing. My raid group kept me playing with Alexander, but, it was lackluster till like
Now, do you say that because the story was particularly good or the fights were really, really well designed?
both. I really like the fight design of I almost called her Shiva. Of
the goddess. Yeah. Sophia. There we go.
Of Sophia. I loved the fight design of Sophia. I was actually the first of my raid group to beat Sophia, and I was the first to get my Sophia weapon in my entire raid group. We just beat her a couple weeks ago, right before Christmas.
Congrats.
And we were all really excited. And oh my god, it was so much fun. And just Sephiroth's fight design and Sephiroth's music got me going. So when Sephiroth was finally released, the Warring Triad was like all I cared about.
Amira, I totally agree. Sophia has been my favorite fight in Final Fantasy XIV. I have not had one that I've enjoyed doing more than that, from aesthetic to the mechanics to the music. I think the music is such a big selling point on Sophia. I completely agree. Now, the story hasn't been there for me in the Warring Triad, but the mechanics on every fight have always been really fun for me.
So Amira, you did say that you did like the story. What story aspect do you like? Do you like what it's building, or do you is there some aspect that Ascali and I seem to be missing?
I like the questions it raises, because as far as I understand from the story, what's holding up Azazla is the power of the Warring Triads.
Right.
Like, they use the Warring Triads as a battery, and we've been going in and killing the ancient primals.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when we, finally defeat Servan?
I think that's
maybe that's what the giant explosion is.
Yeah, that's a super fair question, because and I mean I've wondered the same thing. Like, what's really the point? Like, are the Garleans trying to bring down Azazla, and if so, where and why? What would
Azazla be over?
I don't even know, because have we ever found out in game what Azazla is actually floating over?
Not
I don't
really.
think so.
I mean, it may be flying over water. I mean, the textures that we see when we're up in Azazla are clouds. Like, we're above the clouds,
Yeah.
so we don't really get a sense from that where we are in terms of geography. We may be.
Well, we leave to get there out of the Sea of Clouds, but they make it sound like you travel quite a ways to get to Azazla.
Right.
Yeah.
And Sea of Clouds, remember, there is land beneath the Sea of Clouds.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not really sure.
For as Azazla to be as secret and secluded as it was for so long, I feel like it would have had to been out over top of water someplace. Otherwise, somebody probably would have seen it, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I think it's pretty far out. Like, it was hidden for a very long time and then lost.
Wait, the shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, Space Whale ate the shield.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did that serve
he ate the key to the shield, so.
Well, when we unlocked the shield, where did we take the key? That was up in the Sea of Clouds, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we departed from Sea of Clouds.
Yeah.
Did we have the key, or did we have to ram our way through?
I'm pretty sure.
Didn't we have to build a?
Goddamn! I don't.
We tricked the Garlean, or we used the Garlean's big ship in some way to break through. I thought.
Yeah, I thought we had to bust through it because the Garlean stole the key to get up there before we did.
Yeah,
yeah. That's right.
We had to bust our way in.
God damn!
It's been so long.
I know. Trying to remember
so long.
Trying to remember all of these narrative threads are.
See, this is one of the times that we need the Ethis signal.
That's true.
No.
Australian.
But yeah, I don't know. Some really interesting stuff. So was there anything else that you wanted to talk about, Amira?
Well, I'm actually really excited for the Zervan fight. The way that they showed it in the trailer, I was really just the way that everything's dropping. I feel like it's gonna be things are gonna come back up, and you're gonna have to go over on around Zervan as its safe zones become available. At least I kind of hope that way, because that would give you a lot of movement, but a lot of like spreading and making sure you're staying still for casters and everything. It would be really interesting for me.
I would like it if some of those platforms do return throughout the fight and you have to like move around like that. But at some point, I want you to be down to just one little platform and have to really, really have your movements be on point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would like that. I kind of feel like that would probably be the enrage timer. If you don't beat him by that, you just fall.
Oh yeah, that'd be a sweet enrage. Like he just like smacks the ground and the whole thing falls.
Yeah,
and everyone's left wondering
like,
why didn't he do that to start?
Yeah, right.
That'd have been a good starting point, really.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for the call, Amira. We appreciate it. If you'd like to call Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715. Amira, before we let you go, you got any shout-outs? No? Okay, I guess not. All right, so we'll be taking your calls. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. It does seem really interesting, at least to me, to see how exactly the Warring Triad will provide a lead in to into 4.0. One of the interesting thoughts that I had was that, one of the quotes that we got was "Death unlocked the primal." Well, what if it was us killing the Warring Triad that started this whole mess? When they say death unlocked it, what if they're talking about the death of the Warring Triad?
But that would require you to clear Zervan to continue in the MSQ, right?
Yeah, I guess it would, although I
wouldn't hate that, actually.
Yeah, but the MSQ fights are very, very easy. Mm-hmm. The regular fights, the hard,
it's perfectly doable, and I would actually like that. Like we talked a while ago, that they may kind of handle it that way, where it's like it's not required at any point to do the Warring Triad until the end of it, where you have to have that cleared to move along.
Was that, because that was a little bit similar to the primal system where, because the primals were worked straight in with the MSQ. Right. That as you were going through the MSQ, you got another primal threat, you went and dispatched that, and then we sort of refocused.
Right.
So this sort of does seem to give you the same sort of structure, although it's not directly tied. You can kind of do it at your pace.
At your leisure. You just have to have cleared it before you finish maybe 3.5's MSQ.
And I think that's fair.
Cool.
Wouldn't that be... I think that's a fair ask. You've got to have this side quest done.
And like you say, none of the normal versions of those fights are anything to contend with. They're not hard.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly doable.
So then why separate them out in the first place? Why separate them? I guess because, you do want a different story that you want to tell in the MSQ. They were very focused on the Dragon Song War and getting rid of Nidhogg.
Yeah, it might have been an element of not wanting your players to be like, hey, this is super important, you should be doing this, but go do this up in Azazla for a little bit first. How the story gets disjointed sometimes when you have two narratives going on?
Right.
Maybe that's why it's now when you're in your downtime, hey, I've cleared this section of the MSQ. All right, I'll go up and see what's going on.
It just seems like there would be a better way to make that expectation clear. You know what, you should probably do this as well. I would think, even if it was a side quest, but near necessary side quests, that those would get like MSQ icons or something. You know what I mean? Like, or a different icon to differentiate it. Maybe they're waiting till the end of the system. Maybe they're waiting till the end. But if that's what they're doing, I think that's very smart.
I agree. I think it would be very cool if you had to do this. If this ends up being that the Warring Triad is what births this primal that leads to Omega, holy crap, have they been playing the long game on that one?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do you think that that's like where we're working towards? I'm not totally sure about that.
I don't think so. I mean, as cool as all of that would be, they've never done anything else that would indicate that kind of planning or that kind of behavior, especially given all the stupid jump story potion type deal that they're talking about going forward. You guys didn't think that maybe the whole, death completes the ritual thing might have something to do with the possible story related death that we could end up seeing?
Yeah, I mean, Yugiri's death.
It could. Yeah. Well, we don't know.
If it's going to be Yugiri yet.
Yeah, we don't know, but that's a pretty good working theory.
She's not a row.
Are you mad that she taught you to be a ninja and now she's going to die?
Well, she technically didn't teach me to be a ninja.
Oh.
Somebody else did.
Let's go back to our phone lines, and we're going to talk to Mr. Jack of the Sergeant Anna server. What's going on, Mr. Jack?
Here we go.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
How you doing?
Get through an episode
I'm doing all right.
Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio. What's up? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I just think that it's interesting that you guys are talking about potentially completing 1.0 storylines in the very near future. Because as we saw in the Somal hard mode highlight, that particular music track that they were using, it's called Quicksand, hasn't been used in the game since 1.0.
Right.
So I find this particularly interesting because I feel like this might imply that they could be bringing back some older music from 1.0, and two of my absolute favorite Final Fantasy XIV tracks come from 1.0, one being On Windy Meadows and the other being Desert Moon Defied. So what do you guys think about the implication that they could be bringing back more music to fit into the Stormblood narrative, and are there any 1.0 tracks that you'd like to see make a return?
Well, I thought it was... we were watching the trailer before the show and we heard that music and neither of us could place it. We were like, this is just FF14 music, right? But where's it from? And then, the chat mentioned it. It is very curious that they would redo a 1.0 soundtrack in Somal hard mode.
Yeah, specifically that it's tied to Somal hard. Mr. Jack, you got any theories why they would tie it to Somal hard?
I mean, if I had to reach, I would say maybe they'd be tying it into the MSQ somehow, but I mean, it's not really. It doesn't happen very often that they tie.
I can tell you exactly why that happened.
All right, Kahlo.
We need music for Somal. I ain't got time to make a track. Well, can I just repurpose a 1.0 soundtrack? Yeah, fine, whatever. Just get it done.
But they've never done that before.
Go. Shoot.
I don't know. They've definitely used 1.0 music in just not as like a background piece. I know that they've used 1.0. I think they've used 1.0 music in different dungeons, like other dungeons before too. I couldn't tell you what track. I couldn't place it off the top of my head, but I think they have. So if they started... See, one of the things that I thought was really interesting in the 1.0 to 2.0 crossover was that it seemed like they went Square Enix went very far out of their way to rescore specifically the adventuring maps, like the just like your Lenosia and your place outside of
Shroud.
Shroud. God damn,
Fanalan.
Dude, I am like struggling with names today. I don't know why. But yeah, like the fact that they went to great lengths to rescore those and to provide new music for them, I think did two things. First, it made it feel like a different game. Like it made it feel like
differentiated it.
Yes. Yeah. It didn't feel like the second version of which was very important. Of these cities or this area, which you're right, is really important. You didn't just want a version 2, you wanted it to be distinct. But now that they're bringing it back, I think that you do have, like Mr. Jack had suggested, like you have an opportunity to sort of like reference things with old music, and I really hope that it's not, as Kahlo had predicted, that Oh, we just need some music. Where do we find it?
Well, I think it all comes back to we don't know what's at the bottom of Somal or why we're going there.
It's not going to be anything interesting,
No,
though.
it's not. It's not.
It never
a lot
is.
Of people in the chat are saying that this isn't the first time they've used 1.0 music for hard mode dungeons.
Right, exactly.
Has it been, referencing anything in any of those other ones?
No, I don't think so. I think it would be cool if they did, though. I think it would be really cool if they did. There are specific tracks, though, that really jump out to people from the 1.0 soundtrack that I don't think that they could use in just a dungeon. Like, you can't take Twilight over Thanalan and go, oh, let's just throw that in a dungeon. Like, it's got to be in a Thanalan-based dungeon. Like, it's got to work.
Twilight.
Like that. But they've used Twilight over Thanalan. For example, in the scene where you're having dinner with the Sultana, that was what was playing in the background. So they've done this before.
Okay.
So,
fair enough.
Mr. Jack, thanks for the call. You got any shout-outs?
No.
Bye.
At least he made it easy.
Thanks for the call, dude. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. By the way, apparently, last week, I upset somebody when Sevo Kevo called. I apparently was very, quote, very, very rude to Sevo Kevo.
Was Sevo's mom listening?
Aw, Sevo. But no, the thing is that like it was someone in a YouTube comment that just brought it up randomly. Also called him a girl, which I was like, wow, you assumed his gender there pretty hard. But there was also that whole air of white knightness that came out for that, which I'm just like, ugh, gross. But yeah, like I didn't even think I wasn't even that fucking rude to anyone. I didn't even really rant that whole.
I thought I was ruder than you were.
Yeah,
I was one who was like 20 words or less. Let's move. But he took like 1,000 words.
But that's the thing is that Sevo calls the show all the time. We've known Sevo for like
we've known him
8 years.
Yeah,
we've known him forever. We also know
you've known him longer than you've known me.
Yeah, I think that might be true.
Completely true.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't understand. Like people get all bent out of shape. Like if we fucking treat callers without kid gloves, like that's weird. Like especially that's someone that we know, and then getting shit on all over it. Oh, what the fuck?
No one comes to Ryuichi's defense.
Well,
that's because they can hear it in his voice.
Yeah,
he deserves it.
Fair enough.
Anyway, thanks for the call, Lila. Mr. Jack, whatever your name is. Anyway, let's go back to our phone lines and talk to Shinjima from the Genova server. What's going on, Shinjima?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio. What you want to talk about?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the D&M changes. And then I heard it's not coming till 3.55, which is
Yeah. Well, that's pretty obvious. They had mentioned that a bunch, that as of 3.5, the normal diadem is going away, and then 3.55, they're going to bring out the reworked version of it.
Which leads to the question, would you rather them have showed you nothing about it?
Yeah.
For me, no. I'm glad. I'm glad we got to see some of it now, because it leads me to believe like they're not scrambling to get it together.
Yeah,
I'm glad they feel ready to show a good bit of it.
I'm actually gonna side with you, Escalia, because I think seeing it makes me far more intrigued about it than I would normally be. I think, if it was the first diadem, maybe hold that back. Like if it was a new thing that you're adding, maybe hold that back because it gets kind of confusing.
Right.
But the fact that we've had diadem and then didn't like it, you've got to drum up some hype for that. You've got to drum up some support for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Shinjima, did the trailer work for you? Did it increase your hype for diadem? Are you psyched for it?
Well, there's one problem, and it seems small, but it's actually a big problem that I've been thinking about. And it harkens back to flying mounts. And I remember doing the diadem for the first time, and a major problem was, of course, collecting the aether currents and then flying off to go wherever, right?
Right.
But this time you get flying right away, but it still doesn't solve the problem of, there's going to be scenarios where you're going to have the group go and do an objective, and and then they're going to be like, okay, we got to go do the next objective. Someone's going to get aggro, and they won't be able to mount.
Right.
And then the team is flying, and then that person like probably dies, or they have to kill themselves, and then they respawn, and then they're gonna like go back to the starting point. Someone's gonna bitch about what's that person doing there, right? And I think that's gonna be the major issue, that like it's not linear enough, and the game, like dungeons and instances, are designed so linear, and then you get thrown into Diadem where there's objectives. You can pick which one. I'm hoping it's like that. You pick which one you do first, right? Even if it's not, there's still going to be that issue of, someone's going to pull aggro and they can't mount, and there's going to be some guy that's just, he doesn't want to fight anymore. He's just going to go to the next objective. He's not going to listen to the group, and that's one issue that's really concerning, because it's more of it's not like in Final Fantasy XI. The game wasn't designed linear from the get-go, right?
Right, but at the same time, coming from 11, I don't know, maybe I'm just numb to that kind of complaint, having lived in 11. Like, oh, really? Someone's going to get aggro and slow the group down? Yeah, that sounds about right. That's my life.
Yeah, but I think when it's a managed mechanic, I think it did feel unmanageable or unmanaged in the original Diadem.
I didn't do a ton of the first Diadem. Was it that bad?
You know what? If you got some fucking idiot people running with you, yes.
Oh, man. All right.
You wasted a lot of time on just clearing trash out to be able to
mount up and get out of there.
Yeah.
Because
that was the biggest thing, right? Like I remember that most. It was some guy was off doing something, there was two leaders or something, right? So one person's saying, let's go do this. The other person's saying, do that. And then eventually it's like one person gets fed up, they drop group, they leave, and then the whole group just eventually leaves. And I think that's the major issue that they're not seeing. And I hope there's something like, to fix that. Like I was hoping Diadem, like the flying mounts, I just don't like flying mounts at all. It's just kind of like, I don't like flying mounts in any MMO, but when you put it in an instance where you have to mount up and someone pulls aggro, and it's just gonna cause this. It's gonna cause mayhem, right? And people are impatient in this game, and it's unfortunate. But that's my biggest worry. Otherwise, like I like Diadem, and I hope it succeeds. And like I hope there's something that doesn't cause that much mayhem. There's because I want to see Diadem succeed, basically.
Right. Well, I think all of us definitely want to see. The event end up succeeding in the end. It's just, like what types of play are you able to encourage, and what types of play are we just not going to end up responding to as players? I think that's definitely a valid question, and it's got to be something that comes from the devs. Like, if the devs don't even bother to address that question or ask that of themselves, then I think that's how you do end up with a game populace that feels underserved, or the content doesn't seem to hit home. You've got to pay attention to the way that you train your player base to interact with your content. And I think Square Enix worked themselves into a corner. They really worked themselves into a corner with how much they've been supporting and I don't want to just call it casual, because that is a huge write-off, and it seems like even a blow-off term. But what I mean is that they've been supporting the people that don't invest as much time or effort into the game, and trying to make it an enjoyable experience, even if you only have a few hours.
Right.
Whereas an MMO experience has traditionally sort of hinged on having long stretches of time to be able to play or accomplish something, and having that feel rewarding. And we've talked about this a lot, where Final Fantasy XIV has this fundamental problem that it doesn't feel rewarding. That the gear that you're getting doesn't end up feeling rewarding. That you get just this sense of grind without the reward at the end. At least in FF11, yeah, you had a ton of grinding, but that carrot really felt like a carrot when you got it.
Oh yeah.
You really wanted that piece.
And you got to hang on to that
juiciest carrot ever.
Well, it was humongous carrot. It didn't go away after a month.
That too is that it had longevity, and certain carrots had more longevity than others. But the FF14 and Square Enix have really focused on the turnover aspect, the churn aspect of like, okay, you've only got so much time, and some people can play this way and some people can play that way, and you get an equal amount of reward out of it, whether you put in an hour or 10 hours.
Yep.
How much reward do you want? But it's an equal reward either way. And I think that just in the end ends up having this way of feeling like, well, if everyone's rewarded, then no one's really rewarded. Like that's how everything feels like a participation trophy, as opposed to a real, like a really earned achievement.
Yeah, it's not first place.
Right.
It's participation. Hey, good job.
Right.
You were there.
But nothing is first place. Like that's
right.
The thing is, like when you have a lot of participation trophies, like that first place trophy still needs to mean something, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't just give out all first place trophies. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. It loses all value. It loses all meaning. And I think that FF14's reward structure suffers from a lot of that problem.
Oh yeah,
I just want to say it kind of goes back to the point Anira was making, was that how you train the player base from when they first started playing the game, right? So what I think really hit, that's why I'm worried about the D&M, is because you go through all these linear dungeons and story quests, and then you're hit with this piece of content that's supposed to be slightly horizontal, right? Like, oh, I can do this objective, we can do that objective, and then the group decides where to go.
Right.
But that's not how the player base was. They're like, what is going on? I don't even understand what's going on, and it frustrates them to no end, and they just leave and they don't want to do the content again.
And I think that's what you were trying to sort of talk about with the distinction between linear content and what Diadem is proposing, which is inherently not linear.
Right.
And I with the difficulty that Diadem had the first go round, I would say, yeah, that Square Enix has not trained their player base very well in non-linear content. But to say that you shouldn't have non-linear content, I think that is also a mistake, because that's something that I've wanted to be done and done well for a long time by this game, but it never seems to happen.
Well, and the question is, how do you coerce your player base then to invest the work into learning a new style of content that you have not taught them on really ever? And like
sweet ass rewards.
That's the only way. The shinies.
You got to give them something, a big carrot that they can latch onto. Something that will make them say is like, that's a lot more work, but I want that.
But goddamn,
so I guess I'll do it. I'll learn it.
Yeah.
Like over time, you don't. I don't want to say you don't have to keep doing that, but once you change the player's mindset, like that, when they see a new event, that they don't just approach it with the same turnkey methodology that they've always used. Once they're used to having to like get into the event and look around and figure out, all right, what am I supposed to do? Well, then you've retrained your player base, you've refocused them.
Right, but the thing is that I think that they're trying to retrain the player base in possibly the worst way that they can, because they've taken and excerpted all of this into the separate system that doesn't really have much of an impact in the overworld.
Right.
And I think that this needs to be some sort of there needs to be some sort of fundamental shift that happens to be able to get players to genuinely think like that.
Right, and like we've talked about with Eureka in the new one, we're kind of hoping that's where we'll see something like that.
Maybe.
I
don't know. I don't know how much hope that I hold out. Shinjima, thanks for the call. Any shout-outs you want to give?
Some friends on Genova, Luna, Vala. That's all I know, really.
All right, man. Thanks.
Listen, though.
Thanks for the call. We appreciate it. We always love hearing from you guys at Limit Break Radio. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. The number to call if you want to call in. We've got one more caller here. We're getting pretty close to the end of the show. Remember, coming up on Final Encountercast, we're going to be debuting the demo of our brand new show, Checkpoint Radio.
So excited to debut
so
this.
Good.
Like we've been. When did we start this project? Do you remember when we actually began talking about this and planning it?
It was probably 6 months ago.
About 6, and we've had to keep quiet about it. We've had to
all while working on it.
All while working
on it behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's been so hard.
Even though we're playing a 45-minute long demo today. That has been
3 shows, right?
4
shows.
4 shows. We've done 4 shows of it. Yep.
Yep.
You guys didn't do one without me, did you?
No. Or did we do? No, we did 4.
We did.
They need me for this one, guys.
Yeah, we did 2 on the first go round of recordings and 2 on the second go round.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Because the boats. Well, the thing is that we had the same conversations the second go round.
Yeah. Oh, because we had the boating. That's right. Oh my God, that's how long ago it was.
I know. It was back.
The river wasn't frozen
in the summer. Yeah, it was crazy. So we're definitely super excited to be talking about that. Again, we're going to be playing that over on twitch.tv/Final Encountercast at 5 today. Invite all of you to join us to check out our brand new show. We've been working very, very hard on this, so we definitely want you to check it out. All right, we're going to go back to our phone lines and talk to Crimson Tinted of Balmung. What's going on, Crimson?
Hey guys, how y'all doing today?
Good. Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio.
Thanks for having me call. I wanted to touch on a subject about a couple of subjects about the 3.5 patch that I don't think are getting as much discussion as I think they should.
You're right. Beast Tribe dances.
Exactly. Bomb Beast Tribe dances. No, not those. But I'll preface this by saying that I feel like a lot of people focus in on various elements of the progression of the game with regards to the story, with regards to some of the not raid content, the different game modes they introduce and whatnot.
Sure.
But I don't think we as a community really pay attention to the fact that some of the biggest seed changes in the game's lifetime weren't particularly heavily discussed or sexy, and they weren't on the content treadmill or anything like that. I would argue that things like glamours showing up, housing showing up, were checkboxes that people just assumed would eventually show up. So okay, it showed up now.
Right.
But it fundamentally changed, how people presented themselves. Housing fundamentally changed where people spent their time.
And it changed.
Yes, sir.
And I was going to say, and it changed the value of a lot of items too. I mean, you have a market behind housing, you have a market behind glamour pieces.
Not to mention, most of your dungeon gear is propelled by glamour.
And I think it sort of reset people's expectation around armor as well, specifically armor, because then now you've got 2 reasons to go after a piece. You've got the glamour potential, and then you've got the stats. Now, the other side of that coin is that I think people give less of a shit about the stats on the gear as a result. And I'm not talking about your hardcore raiders or the people who are really into parsing that out, but yeah, everyone. It used to be I remember before glamours that I really wanted that first the first turn of coil set.
Oh yeah.
And I did a lot of coil to be able to farm for those because I liked visually how they looked, and I haven't really had that since glamours, because it's those hands are really awesome, but they're a pain in the dick to get. I can just use these other hands. They're right. That kind of flexibility of the system that's good for the system has kind of been bad for player motivation in the end.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point, but more than that's a whole other can of worms, as it were. I think that the main thing with this patch coming up that people are just sort of writing off as this should have been in the game 3 years ago but is actually going to change everything. I really think it's going to change everything. Is that cross-server party finder?
Oh yeah,
I really do. I really do.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say Summoner Eggies, and I was gonna lose my mind.
I should have. I really should have.
That would have been it. Would have been a good troll, believe me. But no, I think that you're actually right. Yeah. I think that cross-server party finder is going to be huge. And it should be, because I think one of the biggest complaints right now is that being sectioned off by server is
archaic.
Yes,
Archaic.
that's exactly. Thank you, Colin.
Bingo,
That's exactly the word that I was looking for, because now you've had so many games that have come out. Many of them have failed, granted, but you've had so many games come out that have been serverless or shardless.
Yeah.
That have done so well that it seems like, that was like a built-in archaic structure.
Dude, you couldn't play with other people, but you could message people on other servers in 11.
Yeah.
How is it possible that you can in 14?
Right.
But
I feel like all of this just plays into the opinion that LBI kind of has overall of where SE has been with this past expansion. I mean, you bring up, caller, that we don't ever really talk about the things that have had a lasting impact, like housing, like glamours and stuff like that, because we're too busy worrying about why the events and dungeons and stuff and story things aren't impacting. And to me, that actually speaks volumes about the state of the game that we're in, because things like housing probably shouldn't have as much of a lasting impact compared to storylines or compared to entire new events that get put in there. We see our housing in our estates every single day. We spent 2 weeks in Diadem. Which do you think took longer to design?
Yeah.
It's sad.
And I mean, but part of that also, I think the reason that things like housing and glamour and now cross-server party finder don't get talked about is because, like the caller said, you would have thought it would already have been there.
Yeah.
You would have thought that'd have been there at launch.
I think that's also pretty fair too. That, like, why wasn't this already a thing?
And I think that's also the reason they have those monumental effects, is because they are kind of the core things that you'd expect to have already.
Yeah, and also that's, I think, why it gets released to very little fanfare too. Is like there's an expectation that kind of feature should have already been a part of the game.
You can't in good faith be like, hey, now our game has the ability to glamour or have a house, because then you have people like us who go like, I had a house in 11 in 2003. That's not impressive to me.
I had a house once and it sucked.
You're sitting over there. You played Ultima. You probably had a house in the mid-90s.
Oh, I totally did.
And it probably burned down as soon as you logged out.
Yeah, it took about 2 weeks, but all that stuff was forfeit.
But that was stuff you could have in the 90s. It's hard for me to be like, what? You're putting housing in the game, you bold-ass motherfucker.
That's a good point.
Though? Yeah, you know what it is? It's not that I am calling for players to be, be grateful, you ungrateful curs. Like, that's not what I'm going for with my remarks, as it were. It's more, as experienced players of Final Fantasy universes, I think everybody that I'm talking to here has been playing Final Fantasy for a long time.
Sure.
Story in great depth is a thing you expect. These other elements that we've been discussing, we're disappointed when we don't get them to the extent we want, but a Final Fantasy universe story is a far more intricate story than your average RPG story.
That's fair.
Just is.
That's fair.
So, as experienced players, I think it would behoove us more to care more about the less sexy topics, as it were, because then we might actually not have to be so surprised when we get these basic things if we demand them more. That's just a theory of mine. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, no, fair. It's just hard to be like, hey, care more about housing, because people are going to be like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is that, like, most of the time it's like, well, that definitely should have been there. Like, the expectation is like it almost feels like we're giving them a pass for it not being there in the first fucking place.
Right.
Like, why should we bend over and like really suck their dick if they're like putting something in that should have been in 2 years ago? Well, I think that's part of the problem too.
And caring very seldom is a logical process.
Yeah,
it's an
that's
emotional
true,
one.
That's
it's
true.
got something that stirs you on an emotional level to care.
That's true. Crimson Tinted, thanks for giving us a call here on Limit Break Radio. You got any shout-outs before we let you go?
I'll just give some shout-outs to my free companies. Magitate Mayhem on the Gilgamesh server, one of the largest LGBT free companies on the planet.
That's what's up.
And I'll also give a shout-out to my new FC on Balmung, the Average Joes. You all might be familiar with its founder.
No, who's that?
I don't know who that would be.
Mr. Joe Neva, sir.
Real. Oh, I had no idea. No idea.
I'm sure you didn't.
I thought it was going to be Happy, but whatever.
But no, seriously, I love my free companies to death, and I love those servers to death. So just shout outs to the people there. You know, win, lose, or draw, for better or worse. They're my home, and I love them dearly.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Crimson Tinted of Balmung, thanks for giving us a call here on Limit Break Radio. And that will bring us to the end of our show.
We were worried. We did fine.
Oh my God. I did not think that we would get through 3 hours. We got way more out of the trailer than I thought we would.
Yeah, and you know what? We're going to give props to Callow, who called that. You said before the show you thought we might get more out of the trailer than we thought we would.
That's right.
It hurts to say it. It really does. I don't feel good about it.
I'm back, baby!
Ugh.
You guys ain't never getting rid of me.
Son of a bitch.
Damn it.
Anyway, all right, that's going to do it here for Limit Break Radio. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Quick shout out to Juxtaposition, who could not be here today. Also, Nika, who's out at FanFest.
You know what?
I'm sorry, MagFest. MagFest. Why did I say FanFest?
Two hosts who are gone, and both of them have a pretty legitimate reason this week.
Yeah, they do.
I'll give it to them.
They do.
So, yeah, we're looking forward to having them back next week.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have a full crew back next week. We'll see. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Now that Kahlo's able to join us on a regular basis again.
What time's that show going on the air next week?
Say what?
What time's that show going on the air next week?
1.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah. Yeah, you can join us.
1 o'clock?
You can join us here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio.
Oh, that's a good place to go.
1 p.m. every Sunday. We talk about Final Fantasy XIV. And we allow you to get in on that conversation, something that not every podcast does. So, if you want to join us live, take the time, put it in your schedule, and head on over to twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. We put the stream up at about noon every Sunday, so you can come in, listen to some music. But we start at 1, close to 1, here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Join us live. Call in. You can also send us emails, hosts@limitbreakradio.com. I know we haven't read emails in a little bit, but we haven't
the last 3 or 4 we've got have been fan fiction.
That's right. We do have fan fiction that's going to be eventually read on the show. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm not going to be back forever.
It's too popular. It's too popular not to go back and revisit that segment again.
We've never gotten this much feedback on anything. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, that seemed to really hit some kind of vein or nerve. I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, I don't want to think about what nerve it hit.
Anyway, join us each and every single Sunday here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Again, shout out to Papa Woody, who we didn't even know had spent his last episode with us.
I know. We would have had it going away. No, we wouldn't have.
Well, no, you know what? We would have, because it would have pissed off Juxta.
That's correct.
It would have really upset Juxta.
Next year, or next episode, even though he won't be here, I still think that we should do a little send off for Pops.
Oh, maybe we should. Just to piss off Juxta.
Talk about our favorite memories, or what we're gonna miss about him besides him bringing us drinks, obviously.
Wait, so can I not use that as my answer?
No, you can't. Get creative.
We do need someone to get us drinks, though. It's been a serious problem.
Okay, you know what? If we don't have the actual intern there, it should be the person who was last intern, I think.
Well, he's not here to defend himself, so I'm on board with that.
We currently have no intern, and no one who is ever even in the intern role here right now.
No.
Skuro, you're going to need to come to Michigan, bro.
Seriously.
You want
You might even lose a little weight on the way here. Just get on your bike and go.
All right, guys, that's going to do it here for Limit Break Radio. Again, shout out to Papa Woody, and thank you Papa, for all of the work that you did here for Limit Break Radio. We definitely appreciate it. Coming up next over at Final Encountercast, we are going to be unveiling the very first premiere of Checkpoint Radio. So if you want to hear what we've been working on for about 6 months behind the scenes, you may want to head on over to twitch.tv/Final Encountercast when this wraps up, or wait for the host to go out. Either or, it's your choice. And join us for that. Let us know what you think of the new demo. Guys, that's going to be it for Limit Break Radio. Shout out again to Juxta and Nika, who couldn't be here this week. And thank you to my crew, of course, producer Kooky Persona, for hanging out on the phones, as well as Kalo Landis and Escalia Rayumasa. I'm an hero. Keep listening. Limit Break Radio is a production of LimitBreakRadio.com and Bender Media Productions. This episode was produced by Kooky Persona. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. Funding for Limit Break Radio is provided by Miri Kennett, Satori Komeji, Dark Flux, Null Packet, Share Heartslot, and fellow Limit Break Radio listeners. To support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Opening music in this episode from Daniel Lambie. Listen to Man with the Machine Gun and other great tracks at facebook.com/Daniel Lambie Metal Gamer. Closing music in this episode provided by Husky by the Geek. Listen to this and other great Final Fantasy XIV and video game rock covers and original music at facebook.com/Husky by the Geek. In-game graphics for Limit Break Radio's Twitch stream are provided by Diamond Multimedia. Check out their line of AMD graphics cards and other hardware at diamondmm.com. Limit Break Radio and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.